the look in your eyes. You're on the mission, burning ambition. You've got your eyes on the prize. You've gotta rise to the challenge. Show 'em what you've got. Step up and take what's yours. You are kings now, clash of titans.
All right, and the bell rings, and we are off. So if you guys like what you hear, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button, and do all that cool stuff. Check out the links below for everything we're talking about if you want to grab some merch and support our podcast. We have a pretty fun show tonight, full table, and a call-in guest that we'll get to here in a moment. The call-in guest, I'm not sure how long we'll have him for, but we're going to have some fun because we have a lot to talk about. Our group chat was fire. It was fire. So let's real quick introduce our call-in. Hey, you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
What's going on, Matt?
How we doing, my man? How's everybody doing over there?
Good. So we officially have Blue and Gold on the podcast.
How about it? Different locations, but we're here.
Yeah. It's you sound great. I don't know what you're using then. Are you just on the phone or do you have a headset in?
I'm just on the phone watching some YouTube, some Shibata and Pro Wrestling Noah collection. So maybe it's a combination of the phone and the hard-hitting style of Katsuyori Shibata. Maybe that's what's going on.
That's
here.
probably what it is. It sounds crisp. So there's two things that we're going to have you call in because you want to talk AEW pay-per-view, which I have yet to see the whole thing yet.
Okay.
Shame on you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I was too busy supporting local wrestling, and I just haven't had a chance to go back. I seen like ups and downs, and then I seen clips here and there, but I didn't see the whole show throughout. But speaking of going out and supporting pro wrestling, you guys had some action at GSW this week, over the weekend.
Yeah, last Friday.
Yeah, or Saturday.
Oh yes, I keep thinking it's Friday because there was one show there was a Friday, but yeah, Saturday.
So
and he headers all over the place.
Yeah, True Mill.
You got racked. You got your head smacked around there a little bit in those matches. Not as bad as Matt though.
Yeah, they were throwing.
Oh man,
yeah.
Matt took a tombstone to the outside, and I thought some people in the crowd were calling the ambulance.
there was a hush. There was a hush over the crowd when that happened.
No mats there at the True Mill on the floor.
No. So as two guys, you guys been a part of GSW for a long time, and that was our first time really seeing that atmosphere, kind of not only just being welcomed in as just fans the first time,
and don't bury the lead, the GSW Tag Team Champions.
Yes,
Yeah,
still.
I guess so.
And
we
were
3
years
defunct, I guess, for 2 years.
But not only just to be welcomed in as fans and getting to see the show for the first time, but just being welcomed behind the curtain and seeing the guys in their atmospheres and seeing everyone kind of just like it was like a reunion, man. That's pretty much what it was. It was a reunion. People have seen each other for the first time in a long time. What was that experience like? Kind of getting back in there and seeing everybody, Matt.
It was surreal. It was really nice. Really nice seeing everybody. It was really nice seeing Joey Image, a really good friend of mine. It was nice seeing everybody back in. So the one special thing about GSW for me that's probably more special than anybody is where they used to run the building from Old Forge is right across the street from where I played football in high school and where I played Little League Baseball. So I would have, my parents would always come down because they were only a couple blocks away. All my friends that I grew up in high school, they pretty much still live around the area. So it was always like super special to me. Like as I was walking in the building, like, man, that's where I played sports, many, many moons ago. So it was really nice that they did have the reunion show. And, after the match, I did get on the microphone. I did kind of call John Salinas out, and I did mean it. I hope there is more. I hope this isn't just a one-time deal. I mean, that place was jam-packed.
Yeah. And it was really cool too because it kind of seemed like it was just seeing the couple days later and seeing some of the people that were involved as well as the GSW roster where there's kind of like a cool unspoken partnership right now with GSW and True Wrestling.
Yeah, because that came about after GSW, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, they were going for the same time.
So I think what the hopes is that maybe True is going to be the main platform there, but maybe once a month or once every couple months you have a GSW card, show kind of sneak in there, which I think would be fantastic.
John that's all his lights and everything. That's all his.
Yeah.
And he's there for the True shows too.
Yeah. So that would be really cool to keep that going, because that was a fun roster, and it was a really fun show just in regards that, like, for example, the three-way tag match where you guys came out, you shook hands, you had fun with each other. Watching you make it rain was probably really fun, just because that's so out of your character.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know if you knew what making it rain was, but you did it.
Yeah.
You did it perfectly. You nailed it.
$dollars.
He knows who the Rainmaker is.
Yeah, Okada.
But kind of you guys shook hands, gave each other a hug, and then just went to war. Fists started flying, and you guys put on a hell of a show.
That's my style of wrestling. It's, don't get me wrong, I like the good versus evil aspect of it, but to me, my favorite wrestling is just to see who's better. See who the better person is. I grew up in the in the Ring of Honor system. I was trained in the Ring of Honor dojo, so I got brought up in that system. So it's like, let's shake hands before the match. During the match, let's kick the crap out of each other. Then after the match, let's go shake hands. And if we get out a decent time, let's go have a beer together for those who drink. And obviously, we did not get out at a decent time by any means.
When I wanted to have you call in again and kind of do your rundown and your history. But when you were in Ring of Honor, who were some names that you were training with?
There you go.
I was part of the first class. So it was CM Punk was the main trainer. And then this is when they were doing a lot of shows on the East Coast. So when Samoa Joe was in from the East Coast, him and Punk were legit best friends. So Joe would stay over Punk's house, and then we would train with Joe. So we trained, obviously Punk was the head trainer, but we trained with Joe a whole bunch. And then when Punk got signed to WWE, Brian Danielson came in, and he did some of the training there. And then when they brought Kenta in for a couple shows, we actually did some training with Kenta and Brian Danielson. And then he left, and then Austin Aries came in. And I don't know if I ever trained with Aries. I only did a couple with Danielson, but I don't know if I ever did one with Aries. But it was basically mostly Punk and a little bit of Joe, Samoa Joe.
How about that for a list of trainers?
Yeah, that's a stat card. Kind of watching you wrestle too, and seeing it for the first time you actually in action. I even told Brian on the Car Ride Home episode that you reminded me of a Daniel Bryan, where you're kind of a tactician, where your strikes lead to targeting a limb, and then you work on that limb the whole match with just technical wrestling and submissions.
Everything meant something. Yeah, everything meant something.
You're not throwing wasted energy. Like when you go for something in a match, it's for a reason.
Oh, and I appreciate that. That's very flattering to be compared to what I think is the greatest wrestler in the history of Ring of Honor, Brian Danielson, Bryan, whatever you want to call him.
I thought you were going to say Bobby Dempsey.
I love Bobby Dempsey. I love Bobby. Actually, I had his first ever match. I was in his first ever match.
By the way, I'm Jack. By the way, nice.
Yeah, we didn't go around and give you voices. I definitely apologize for that. We started real quick.
The one guy that was talking before was Andy Header. You might know him a little bit.
You might know his voice.
Like I told you guys, we ran into Bobby Dempsey at the MSG show.
In the chat, the group chat, we were talking about Larry Sweeney earlier and Bobby Dempsey and some old ROH names.
Mitch Ryder.
Now, Matt, that first class, that would be like Shane Hagedorn and those guys, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I talked to Shane quite a bit, who actually works for AEW as a producer. He's flying.
wow.
He was flying. When AEW first started, he was just like doing a staff writing job, and then they would fly him in every now and again. I guess kind of like for tryout stuff. But if you follow any of his social media stuff, whether it's just the Shane Hagedorn stuff, or he does have a fantastic podcast where him and ROH superfan Jeff Schwartz called An Honorable Mention. Cheap plug. They didn't even pay me for that. They basically review like the first handful of years of Ring of Honor, and they do a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff. But anywho, he basically he's on the road every Tuesday. Basically shows him flying to the AEW events. So yeah, he is a full time on with AEW, and good on him, man. Because tell you what, he has paid his dues, man. Let me tell you, he has paid his dues. He worked in that office for years and years and years, and he drove out to all the shows. It didn't matter if it was Philly, New York, New Jersey, Chicago, Las Vegas, California. I mean, he literally had to drive the ring truck everywhere.
But before they go on with any more questions for you, I just have one. Did you ever work the Murphy Rec Center, that fucking sweatbox?
Oh yeah, a whole bunch. Yeah, that's actually where I had my first Ring of Honor match.
Okay. Yeah, I lived just, 2 or 3 streets down from there, because I lived by 4th and Rittner, so.
Oh, okay. And it was just the gym with the windows up top.
Yeah.
And, well, there's a door.
Yeah.
They would have
no AC.
No, they had AC, but it was like a window unit.
Oh, my God.
Like you would have in your living room. Yeah.
I'm sorry, no, not the Murphy Rec. I worked the Philadelphia Armory. No, the Murphy Rec where they ran maybe their first 7 or 8 events. No.
Yeah.
But I was in there as a fan, and that place was dying hot. I think they had the heat on in the middle of the summer. I mean, it was insane.
Me and Brian saw AJ Styles. He came out to Ric Flair's music because he was the NWA champ.
It was the night he defended the NWA title against Chris Sabin.
I might have been at the show. I was at a majority of those Ring of Honor events in the Murphy Rec. I started with crowning a champion, which I think was their 4th show. I did miss the hour Iron Man match, the 4-way to crown the first champion, but I had buddies of mine. They said it was something like 115 degrees in the ring. Yeah,
it was bad. That was the worst. Like, I'm not joking. It's the worst I ever sweated in my life.
Yeah.
Like, the sweat was pouring off of us.
I believe it. I remember watching the videos there. It just looks hot.
It was hard to breathe.
The Armory was
really
great, though.
Yeah. Here's my last. Before we jump into the pay-per-view here, I have one last question that kind of goes to you and Andy. Now, you guys both been doing this a very, very long time, and not only do you do this a long time, you've been training, you've been around some huge names. You've worked with just people all over up and down the East Coast, and on top of that, you're still super fans watching products and still watching on a consistent basis. Talking to some people, they do lose that charm. Like when you kind of see, behind the curtain and you kind of see the tricks and the trade, some people lose interest in trying to watch other promotions. How does that spark and that passion still stay there after so many years?
Good, Andy. After you, sir.
No, okay. So you go first. I think it's more if you're into it. Like I've never been not into it, so for me, I'm always interested. So that's why I've never lost interest in it at all. So I mean, even learning stuff, I'm like, well, I still like it. So it's still fun to watch other people.
It's like if you work in a pierogi factory and you make pierogies all day long, and you stare at pierogies, and then you go home, you're like, I don't want to look at pierogies. It's like
fucking starving.
Yeah, see, I'm not like that. I take as much wrestling as possible, even like the shitty wrestling you watch, because you're like, I know what not to do now, and sometimes it's just fun to watch shitty wrestling just to shit on it. But yeah, I don't know. I've never lost interest in wrestling.
I think I did for 6 months.
As always, me and Andy Header, I have more in common with him than anybody on the planet, and he pretty much copy and pasted my answer. I fall in love with wrestling more and more each day, and like we always say, man, there's more wrestling out there than ever was before, and it's more accessible to get to between the networks and YouTube and live streams, and there's so much good stuff out there. I mean, you look at New Japan, you have NXT, you have AEW, you have Raw, you have SmackDown, you have Stardom, you have All Japan. Pro wrestling, NWA, pro wrestling, Noah's coming back in a big way. You have 0-1. Not only that, but you go back and watch the old stuff. Like I said about 10 minutes ago, I'm watching some Shibata stuff from 2011, 2012. It's like you can always go back to it. And even like Andy said, sometimes the stuff that you can even go back and watch the stuff that's not good, not only to say, well, maybe that's not what I should do, but maybe it's something that, I like how he sold here. Like the match was 9 minutes, 8.5 minutes was crap, but there's 30 seconds. I kind of like the way he fed into that. So you can always pick up something from somebody, whether it's somebody wrestling 20 years or somebody that's only had his 20th match. I try to watch as much as possible. So this way, it's something like maybe I can pick up, okay, maybe I don't do it that way. Maybe I sell this way. Maybe I do this way. Oh, I like what he did there, but instead of doing this, he threw a punch there. I really don't throw punches. I throw forearms. So instead of selling into the punch or feeding into that way, this way I'll throw it with the forearm or a kick. So it's like you always watch something, you kind of just blend your own stuff into it. But yeah, I fall in love with wrestling. I like wrestling. I've been watching wrestling since I was like 3 or 4 years old, so that's over 30 years, and I can honestly say I love wrestling right now more than I ever did. If you're asking me this question tomorrow, I would give you the same answer. I love it more and more each day.
Who are some guys that you worked with on some of the local indie shows and circuits that just really catch your attention that you're very high on?
Andy Header.
Yeah, there we go.
he's fan, dude. He's right across from me, but he's fantastic at what he does, and it's just
that's right.
And kind of just
needs to learn how to hold the tag rope.
Right
you got to hold the tag rope, Andy.
Yeah, you got trouble for not holding the tag rope, and then it turned into tornado tag.
Yeah, well, he was trying to tell me go on the other side for the hard cam, so I wouldn't be in front of it. But Gary and the girl were standing there taking pictures. I was like, I can't stand there.
Yeah. But I said it on previous shows before, like just kind of like at Outbreak and at PPW, where they kind of let us sit behind the curtain and kind of watch the guys warm up for matches and get ready and kind of get in that headspace. It's just so cool seeing Andy like outside of this podcast realm, just in his natural element as a professional wrestler and entertainer, and just get himself psyched up to go out there and do it. It's just it's so fucking cool to see. Sorry to curse already, but we got it out of the way now. But it's just so cool to see, and it's just like it's like a proud moment. Like you're like, man, that's my buddy doing it right there. Like it's just.
Do we only have
fun.
so many curses on this show?
No, you can go crazy.
It's like AEW. You can only say the S word once during
Yeah.
TV
Yeah,
show.
well, because I said fucking sweatbox earlier.
No.
Oh yeah, now we're way over budget. All right, so AEW pay-per-view, Brian. You want to?
Yeah, I have the card here. Yeah, we
Yeah.
can just kind of run it down match by match. They had 2 dark matches on this. The first was Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, and Penelope Ford defeating Riho and Yuka Sakazaki.
That was on Dark. So they recorded that for Dark because I watched it.
Yeah.
I watched
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah. Yes.
How was it on? I didn't see it.
Yeah, that was recorded for Dark.
It
Andy
wasn't
Stone was
bad.
on
It was pretty good.
But they showed it on as a pre-show.
Yuka.
No, I messed up because I'm looking at the Wikipedia rundown. That was recorded for AW Dark, but it was the night of the pay-per-view.
Yuka and Riho make a good tag team, obviously because they speak Japanese to each other.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good match.
One of the cool things I
Riho wants
noticed
a double stomp.
on being the elite, and I couldn't see the full pay-per-view, so I don't know how it translated. But everyone in the crowd on hard cam side had special bracelets that reacted.
I think everyone in the arena did because they did. Yeah, and they when they could do the music, they could like put the pulse through it or something like that.
And, like,
I don't
people
know if
just
they
put
got
their
the
hands
keep
up.
over- Yeah,
That's really cool.
that's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever seen anything like that.
That's like innovation. That's what it's all about. Like new things, new ideas.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, see if it works.
It's kind of funny because me and Andy had talked about doing that about 2 months ago. I brought it up to him. But nowhere near as big. The ones that I was looking at were just like regular bracelets. Those things look like Timex watches.
Yeah.
He'd probably leave at the Hagedorn. He's
Yeah.
looking
Hey.
for ideas.
Hey, we're both friends with them on Facebook.
I do like how you guys have people throw streamers in the crowd. That's That's fun. The kids ate that
Yeah.
up, man. They were going crazy
I love
for
the
those
streamers.
streamers.
They're the best, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an old All Japan thing that they quickly brought over to Ring of Honor. You don't see it. I think they still do it. They don't do it in New Japan. They used to do it every now and again.
I thought it was a great tradition.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. I think it's really cool.
We got to see that in Edison.
Yeah.
I think that's the only time I remember
For
seeing
a Japanese
that.
wrestler, usually it was
Kenta,
always
yeah,
okay,
Kenta.
yeah.
Kenta wrestled Davey
wrestled-
Richards.
Yeah, David Richards, and when we saw him in Edison, and
Did he get yellow and brown ones? Because that would be pretty matches gear at the time.
Then they would throw toilet paper at Jimmy Ray.
Yeah, that was the best.
All right, what was our next match here?
Next match was an actual pre-show match. It was the Dark Order, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson defeating SCU, Kazarian, and Scorpio
Okay,
Sky.
so I didn't see that.
It was okay. It was like it was nothing special,
Yeah.
but it moved the story along. Like Daniels came down dressed in like a hood and make
I
it seem
seen
like
that.
he
Yeah,
was
that-
like, you know, he
and
was
then he
ultra
attacked
one, and then
him.
he just attacked them.
Well, then Colt Cabana come down first.
Yes, Colt Cabana came down first to make the save, and then they jumped him because they had more
Yeah,
numbers.
he's signed, but he can still do other stuff too. So, but he's not been on NWA.
I'm still not counting Christopher Daniels out as the.
I feel like it'd be stupid to do it now. It'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, it's super swerve. With
Yeah.
One of the
some
things-
M. Night Shyamalan shit.
Yeah,
One of the things I like that they did here is they didn't act like the Dark Order were idiots. They're like, well, obviously this isn't the real Exalted one.
I like
we know
that
who he
too.
is.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good.
So they got ready to fight.
Yeah.
Instead of being like, oh, this must be our guy that we know, and obviously it's
you didn't
not.
tell any of us.
yeah, when it turns out to be Luke Harper and the guy's 6 foot taller. You're like, he seems fucking shorter. I thought Harper was bigger than this.
Matt, did you have any thoughts on that one?
I actually didn't see that.
Okay,
I did get tipped off that Colt Cabana was there. Then they announced, I think, the next day that he signed. So, good on him. I mean, Colt's, he's been 22, 23 years. And when I was in Ring of Honor, and I think he was on a couple shows I did in Mid-South. It was always great to us. Always there to, help out and give tips. So good on him. I'm glad that he got a contract with AEW, and I'm sure he can probably has open to where he can probably work New Japan as well, because a lot of those guys in AEW are kind of calling their own shots.
He's in the Cup, right? He's in the Japan Cup?
He was,
Well,
but that
they-
got
they-
canceled.
And isn't he also helping out with NWA Power?
He was, but he hasn't been on this season.
Yeah, I don't know
Or
if he's-
the
I
new
think
set of
he's-
tapings.
Yeah, I think he might be done for Power, but I'm not
Yeah.
sure about New Japan.
What are some picks that you have, Matt, for the Exalted one?
You got to say it's got to be Matt Hardy.
Yeah, we're torn. We're thinking like at this point now, is it Matt or are we going with Harper or it's kind of
Lance Archer as well, but then they did that angle with Jake the Snake on Wednesday.
That's what I said.
so-
I think Archer's
that's
with
Lance.
Jake the
I
Snake.
think
No,
that's who.
I think Brody Lee's gonna be
Lee's
with Jake the Snake.
Yeah,
One of them has to be.
They're going to be in Rochester. That's where Brody Lee's from. It's going to be 2 weeks.
Because Lance can talk a little, Brody Lee can't.
When they did that promo with Jake, I was like, is Cody wrestling Jake's guy tonight? And then, because they didn't give a date, and then they announced that Cody's wrestling Ortiz next week. So you would think it would be in 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, that's when they're in Rochester. And that's what they've been saying forever, that if Brody Lee's coming in, that's when he probably is.
Yeah.
It's going to be his
It's
debut.
not. It's going to be Colin Delaney.
Like I said, the only way it can be Matt and make sense now is if these angles they're shooting for Matt's show and being the Elite is like Matt gaining their trust and turns on them on like the internet show, and then like he reveals that he's the Exalted One. It's like this big reveal if they show. But it's like you're going to pop that for the internet first.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. You could, I guess.
Because right now it looks like it has to be like a big face. Like the Bucks go and help him kill himself or whatever, so he becomes broken again.
Yeah, the only thing that bothered me is you're doing this being the Elite, and I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you're doing being the Elite, and you're cutting all these segments and these skits, and then all of a sudden they're like JR gets on the commentary team and says the Young Bucks were so injured they couldn't even travel this week, so they're sitting at home injured.
But one of them came,
and I was like, I just watched them being the Elite after the pay-per-view.
Carolina.
They went to Carolina, so they're traveling.
And one of them was on the show too.
Yeah. Nick's wife is having a baby.
They could say what they could do is say that they recorded that. Before.
Yeah, I guess they could have.
But on being the Elite, they left the pay-per-view, and as they were leaving to get on the airport to go home, he got a phone call.
Yeah, they weren't injured.
Nobody's paying attention to being except for Tony.
Yeah.
And then the
I think that's what they're relying on.
And to be fair, the thing where they show up at the compound was not on being the Elite; it was on Free the Delete.
It was on Free.
Yeah.
There's so many web shows now.
I'm just saying, if he's a part of the Exalted One, why would he need the Hardys? Why would Matt Hardy?
Maybe they're luring the Bucks into a trap.
Yeah,
that's the only.
Brother Nero is the Exalted One.
Yeah.
Well, he's tied up though. He's tied up for a while. He was just on backstage. Yeah.
They shouldn't make it just somebody like why they should make like Colin Delaney,
just someone random.
Like,
who was the dude? Zach Allen.
Oh God.
It's gonna be Hornswoggle.
It's gonna be Marco's
That's his son. Oh God.
It's gonna be Marco's brother. I forget his brother's who's even smaller.
I like Swoggle. He's really good friends with Brian Myers.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'll see how it goes, but I also heard that the reason why Hardy's kind of holding off on his debut is because he did agree to do that show like with the WWE guys. I think
he got pulled.
No, they just announced. I was reading it before that he's back on it.
Oh, the con thing this weekend.
Yeah, whatever with Undertaker and all those people.
Yeah, there's like a big convention, and now
I'm sure AEW wouldn't care though.
Yeah, AEW wouldn't care, but WWE has a rule now. Like if you're doing a convention like Wizard World or something like that, and an AEW guy's on it, WWE will not let the people do it.
How dumb isn't that?
So like if he would have showed up on
if
he would have showed up on Wednesday, he wouldn't have probably been able to do that con.
Oh,
right.
So it'll show up next weekend.
Well, is that con like big money for Matt?
Probably
might be. Yeah.
Probably.
Well, I think what they have to do in the web show where he gets fully broken, and then after Bucks do whatever they do, and then he'll show up.
Yeah.
Why not tease that on Dynamite?
I don't know.
Because if you didn't watch that, you'd have no idea if you're just a normal Dynamite. Yeah, I just watched Dynamite, and that's it.
Yep.
Well, that's
Now,
the
here's
biggest
the
complaint I've had for forever.
Yeah.
They don't.
Go ahead, Matt.
Here's a question I have for you guys, and I really don't know this answer. Now I know Matt Hardy, he let his contract run out. Does he have to wait the 90 days for no compete, or that only if you get your release?
That's if you ask for a release.
Yeah.
Or if you get cut.
Okay.
Or if you get cut.
Yeah, his contract is expired, so
he
he's
can
done.
show up on. He could have showed up on AEW on Wednesday.
Yes.
If he wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
All right, next match.
Well, the first match on pay-per-view proper was Jake Hager defeating Dustin Rhodes by submission.
I thought too long, and
14:40 is pretty long.
His finisher is a little stupid.
I was
It's a little
happy
boring.
that Dustin changed his makeup
face
up.
paint to like the face, the mouth.
I hate the half face thing, but I like
hate
it
it
going the other way. That was different.
It looked better going the other way.
Yeah.
I think.
He did the half face again on the next night. Then on
Yeah, he was back to the same.
he went back to
I
Well, it may
I
have
don't
just been a special thing for
It's
the paper.
it's a pay-per-view. I'm going to do something different.
The only thing I didn't understand is he's out there as the super baby face, and he's over there kissing
Kissing
up
his
on
wife.
on
Yeah,
his
that's
wife.
what
Yeah,
everyone's
people
saying.
thought that was weird. Yeah,
It just was a weird.
That's an
thing
80s thing
Yeah,
to
it was
do.
just weird.
like Rick Rude or
Yeah, it
something.
was very, very well. It was his wife, and it's like here's my hot wife.
Yeah.
So I didn't think that was a babyface move to do that. I thought it was
No.
just like he's showing off. He's suave.
no, Dustin kissed his wife.
Dustin kissed Jake Hager's wife.
Oh, in what
Like
sense?
that whole thing where
like walked over, grabbed her by the head, and made it out.
Well,
with her.
because he's like, look, I'm going to kiss your wife because Jake Hager kisses his own wife. So maybe
exactly that's exactly, my friend. You get the whole build up with this spot. Jake Hager kept going out,
right,
kissing his wife or his girlfriend, and it kept getting heat. It kept getting heat. So then Dustin went out and he got the kiss and they got a baby face pop. That was the whole build and whole psychology of the spot. Yep,
we're best friends. You know what? Fuck Andy Henner. It's me and you.
It is weird in 2020 to see that.
It's blue and old now. It's old school though.
It is.
I like it. I like it.
It's like here's the thing. It's nice here that we're kind of debating on it, but did it work? Did it get over? It did. So
yeah.
I think there's a trade in the works. Andy, would you like to do a true crime podcast?
I know nothing.
Still not the best kiss of the weekend though. Trajan kissing the ref was better. You're supposed to count to 3. I kissed you.
I kissed you on the mouth.
I kissed you on the mouth. Did that not mean anything to you?
So the next match, a little bit shorter. Darby Allin defeated Sammy Guevara.
This should have been the first match because
that should have been the opener. I agree. Usually AEW, when you have any of these pay-per-views over the last 5 or 6 years, they always start with a hot opener. And I thought that this card was built around 3 matches: the tag title match, Cody MJF, and the main event, the heavyweight title match. But other than that, this match stole the show. I absolutely love this match.
It was really good. I mean, even though half of it was before the bell rang.
It was a giant.
Like literally, the runtime
segment.
The runtime of the actual match was 5 minutes.
Like
but there's a lot of preamble.
The 6:30 through the table on the outside. Cool. And I was like, whoa.
These
two are real good together. They have good
chemistry.
Guevara
has sold me.
He's grown on me.
Hey, he's good.
He's grown on me.
He's a star.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, look who he's rubbing. Look who he's literally working hand in hand with every week.
Well,
how can you not get better?
When the stable was first put together, I was like, this doesn't make sense to me, but I love it now. I don't love the stable.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie because I don't like Santana or
LAX don't fit.
Right. I like them
a metal team. Like the Briscoes would fit better. I think.
I love the Briscoes, but anyway, Guevara. Yes, he's right. He's rubbing off on him and he's teaching him shit. What a great mentor to have.
They were great on Dynamite, like the posing together. They have such great chemistry together, Jericho and Guevara.
How about that inner? I really want that inner circle
shirt
that looks like Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. He's like, I remember his first press conference when he came out chewing his gum and he's like, "I'm the greatest thing ever," and people are like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
And then he's just let me get in the ring. And then his first match, he came out.
Don't you watch Lucha Underground? You don't know who he is?
I didn't know him from Lucha Underground. No,
he only watched the first couple.
I only seen the first season.
It was a joke.
Oh, was he on there?
I didn't even know he was on Lucha Underground. To be honest,
he was on there.
Yeah, and he was in AAA.
Yeah. See, I just got back. Not just got back into pro wrestling, but I took a long hiatus. Really into it when I was younger, but I was a WWE kid through and through. Like I refused to watch WCW. Like I was only a Monday Night Raw kid. Like I did not watch anything else. And then I took a huge break and I became a bigger mixed martial arts fan. And then I came back. I came back to wrestling.
Should have been watching Battle Arts and Pancrase.
Yeah, I came back to wrestling.
Team Jiu-Jitsu.
When Dave Bautista won the Royal Rumble, and I've been watching it ever since then.
Now, let me ask you this, not to get a sidetracked here, but I'm just curious, what made you fall off wrestling?
I seen mixed martial arts for the first time, and I was like, man, this is awesome. I'm into it.
What year did you get out of wrestling?
Well, it kind of Ken Shamrock brought me to mixed martial arts. And then, was it like the Shamrock Ortiz? Yes,
feud?
Shamrock Ortiz won, got me into mixed martial arts, and I never looked back.
What year is that? Is what I'm asking.
90-something. No, 2000,
it was like 2003.
2003.
Yeah, we're still wrestling in like 99.
Yeah.
So this is during what era? That's
Ruthless Aggression.
Ruthless Aggression.
Yeah, I didn't watch any of that. And then what brought me back to wrestling is I was talking to some friends about it, and they're like, "Yo, there's 2 guys in wrestling that you must see. They are absolutely phenomenal. They bring back that old school style. You really need to go see them." And I was like, "Cool, who are they?" And they said CM Punk and Daniel Bryan.
Never heard of them.
And I said, "All right, I'll tune in." And I watched the Royal Rumble, and then after that Royal Rumble, they both left.
It was 2014.
They were gone forever. Not ever.
Stop tapping out AFI.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So
Andy Header, I thought he was going to say us.
Oh yeah.
And then getting back into it, just probably in the last year and a half is when I'm really start opening the doors, and I'm starting to try to watch a little bit of New Japan. Like I totally dove into AEW. I'm watching NXT. I'm trying to get into Impact. Like I'm trying to open my mind to different people. So I'm playing catch up when it comes to certain names.
Got to get you to watch some DDT next.
There you go. I have some
Iron Man
and even like the local scene. Like I've been going to a lot of local shows and kind of really diving back into this world of professional wrestling again. And I'm glad I'm back into it.
Very upset though that you didn't like WCW.
Yeah. I couldn't do it.
I flip back and forth.
I flip back and
So
forth.
did I.
Yeah.
So
the more the better.
So
to
me, I was a kid who completely bought into if you leave WWE, you're a traitor. and then when I finally would turn into it, I hated Bill Goldberg.
The only traitors were the people that left ECW and sold out. They were the only
Goldberg.
traitors.
That's
Goldberg
right.
was
Mad at.
Goldberg was trash when he came over to WWE. It was.
I didn't like.
They didn't book him right because they don't know how to book. Like, look at Vader. When Vader was a fucking monster in WCW, they bring him over with Jim Cornette, and he was a cartoon character. Like, fuck you.
Goldberg's first night was awesome. Though when he speared the Rock, that was great. That was awesome.
I think I was too old.
Hi, Rock.
Vader's first night was pretty good too when he beat up Monsoon.
Yeah,
his first night was the Rumble.
And then it was
The first night was the Rumble.
If you guys like Vader's stuff in WCW, did you ever see his stuff from All Japan?
Yes.
Or New Japan?
Him and Stan Hansen.
That's the best stuff. Yeah, him and Kobashi and Misawa and Kawada. Yeah, that's the best stuff.
Who was he wrestling when his eyeball popped out?
Stan Hansen. Him and Bam Bam. I meant to say Bam Bam, not Hansen. Him and Bam Bam is a fucking tag team, dude.
Imagine.
Yeah, they had that match. They had the match Gatase and Muto. I think it was like one of the G1 shows.
Wow.
Yeah.
While New Japan's on hiatus, this is a great time to check that back catalog if you still have your New Japan World. There's some amazing stuff in there.
A show that went up where Tai Chi plays Fire Pro. I have not watched it yet, but I heard about it. Like, I kind of want to watch that.
Yeah. So where are we at?
I hate Tai Chi, but
we're at the big one now. We're at the doozy. Kenny Omega and Adam Page retain the tag team titles over the Young Bucks in what a lot of people are calling the greatest tag team match ever.
I don't know if it was better than them versus Kota Ibushi and Kenny Omega from Long Beach 2 years ago.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Dave Meltzer is such a mark for Kenny that when he said it was the greatest tag team match in American soil, I was like, Jesus Christ.
I think he said the same thing about the match I just mentioned.
Well, I was actually I was listening to Meltzer and Alvarez's show today, and he was really trying to break it down. It was, I forget the exact, Matt might even know, the exact All Japan tag match he was talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. I guarantee I know exactly what he's talking about. There was a series of matches that happened in All Japan. It was the Holy Demon Army, which is Taiyo and Kawada versus Misawa and Kobashi.
That's it, yeah.
They probably had 4 or 5 matches. It's kind of like the same thing with the Rock and Roll versus the Midnight Express. When someone says, what's your favorite Rock and Roll versus Midnight Express match, I really have to think about it. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way whenever somebody says, what's your favorite tag match in Japanese wrestling, it's probably those 4, but I don't know which one it is. It might have been the one where it went to an hour, just because I like long matches.
Meltzer had basically narrowed it down to this match with the Bucks against Kenny and Page, that match in All Japan, and in 80s NWA tag match that was on an episode of Worldwide between the Fantastics and the Midnight Express.
Now, would you consider the triple threat ladder match a tag match, or would that would be
the
more
one in
NXT
match? UK?
No, where it was the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian.
I guess you would say tag match.
Yeah,
unless
tag
you're
match.
saying solely 2 tag teams.
I just don't know if that can be considered a tag because they didn't technically hitting ropes and tagging each other, or is that more under the terms of a ladder match?
Tornado to.
But I would never grade a spot fest like that with an actual like straight up 2 gut teams against each other, tagging in, tagging out. Like, it's a different thing.
Yeah, that
not a traditional
blew
tag
my
team
mind.
match.
But yeah, this match a lot of people loved. Hangman Page is just blowing up. He's becoming a breakout star.
Great match.
I've been saying that for a while. It seemed like he was
dragging his feet a little bit when AEW first started.
Yeah, now he's.
That's because
really
they were assuming that people would just like admit that he was over. Like, they just like, oh, we accept that he's over, but he wasn't over. When AEW started, he wasn't. He was a Ring of Honor jobber, like Matt said. Like, that's just the truth. He went in New Japan. He didn't do much. He was never like a champion.
He was in the G1, but he didn't do too much.
Yeah. So like he needed.
That's where he started getting hot, though.
Yeah.
If you remember, Andy, when we used to review the G1s, as it was getting towards the middle and the end, we're like, man, this Hangman Page, you can see his confidence started building because he was in the ring with those big stars in New Japan, and we knew. I mean, he's got to be the most improved guy over the last 3 or 4 years in the whole industry.
There's something about him. He just has. I think he's got a good look. I think he's believable. I don't know. It's just.
Yeah. So if he would have stayed in New Japan one more year,
I think him working.
I mean, he's now, but
when he was with Jericho, it didn't hit for me.
Right.
It was good because him and Jericho worked very well together. But his singles push for a while there, I wasn't buying into it, and I was so into him like going into AEW. I'm like, this dude is someone you could build a company around.
Right.
And then it started. I'm like, ooh, maybe ate my words a little bit. But I think him working with Kenny and him working with the Bucks and the Lucha Bros and all these tag teams, he's really starting to shine.
I think everybody today wants things to happen like overnight.
Yeah.
When shit takes time. You know what I mean? Like they're talking about AEW. It's like, let's give it another year or two before, like, they still have to build up their roster. They're still building their talent. They just threw shit at us right away.
Yeah.
We're expecting all these people to, be like an overnight success or,
Well, I think from just a pure storytelling standpoint, between when they started in September and now, they've grown by leaps and bounds.
100%.
Yeah.
They're getting their feet under them a little bit.
I can't wait till he comes back out on the horse.
And
not that horse. That horse is dead. That would be weird.
Hunter Horse Humsley. Yeah.
Horse Humsley.
What really showed a lot for me with AEW is the Brandy gimmick when it didn't work and the fans was like, this doesn't work, and they're like, it's done. It's over. We're not going to.
He would just keep dragging it out.
They're like, no, I'm too stubborn. This is going to work. Yeah.
Yeah.
That match. I did see the ending.
Did Meltzer rate that?
I can actually
1,465 stars.
I can pull up the new Observer. He probably did. I
didn't see anything if he did rate that.
While I'm pulling that up,
it was close to 5. It was so good.
While I'm pulling that up, the next match.
It was 5. Had to be 5.
Not quite as good. Nyla Rose defeats Chris Statlander to retain the women's title.
Don't jive together.
Is that why Tyler left?
Yeah,
maybe.
And I went to the bathroom.
Joking.
Yeah. Like they did what Statlander goes for the superplex and they kind of just fell off. It's like, ooh. And then at the end when Nyla goes for the powerbomb, she's like, one leg was out, but then she does it. And I was like, oh, that didn't look. I don't know. They just didn't jive well.
No.
But then they said that Statlander had the flu pretty bad. And she was just getting over it. So I'm sure she wasn't.
I think going back to letting people marinate and kind of learn and keep going. I still think Statlander could be a
7?
That's 6.
Oh, 6.
I still think Statlander could be a superstar. I really do.
Oh, so do I, dude. I like Statlander a lot.
I think I was a show on her last summer because I remember a Space Girl and I remember the tattoos, but I don't know if it was her or somebody doing the same gimmick.
Was it Spaceman Frank Hickey?
She was on a bunch of PPW. She was on a bunch of PPW shows. I think we did a True show with her as well.
Really? Okay, then I was on shows with her. Yeah,
I were definitely on a show with her.
I was like, I remember some Space Girl, and I was like, she had weird makeup, and I was like, was that her or was it somebody else?
She's fucking cute as shit, dude.
And honestly, like, it's weird to say, but like Nyla. I don't know if it's just with the bad chemistry with her, but her and Riho have some phenomenal
so you can't
chemistry.
say Nyla sucks.
It's like the new Gail Kim and fucking Kong, which was like a Vader Sting fucking dynamic.
Yeah.
People say that's the best AW's women's match.
I think both the Rio Nyla matches were the best.
And they have Kong, and
Kong
ain't Kong anymore.
No.
I think she's very aware.
So
of that
this
too.
one they just didn't. Maybe it was just an off night for both of them, or they just don't have chemistry, but just wasn't happening for this match.
I do have the star ratings for the AW show. The dark match, the dark like the YouTube show.
Match.
Penelope Ford, Britt Baker, Rio and Yuka was 2.5. Dark Order SCU was 2 3/4. Hager Dustin Rhodes was 3. Darby and Sammy was 3 3/4. Kenny and Paige against the Young Bucks, 6 stars.
Come on, Dave.
6 stars.
It was equal to Okada and Omega.
Yeah, the Dome. Yeah, and then
but it was better than Okada and Ibushi because I think Okada and Ibushi was like 5.5.
Yeah.
And then Nyla and Chris was 2 stars.
Okay, I agree. I would just give the tag match 5, but I would give that women's tag match 3 because that was pretty good.
And then the next match was MJF beating Cody in 24 minutes, 36 seconds.
This one I thought a little too long. Like, how many minutes was it? 24? Maybe they would have shortened it down to 18?
3.5 stars.
How did he look in the ring?
Who?
MJF. Like,
good. MJF, when he wrestled...
He's not awful. He's just not, like...
When he wrestled Jungle Boy, I'm like, wow, look at MJF go.
Yeah.
He looked a little bit too much of the spray tan, though.
I love the... I love the first line of the review by Meltzer. Cody got a new tattoo of an American flag on his neck. He was neither drunk nor lost a bet, but it was a decision he made, and he even spoke on the road, too, about it.
Nobody likes that tattoo with Cody.
Nobody.
Here's the thing.
I'll be honest, when he came out, and I first stopped, and I was like, oh, it's cool, he's got paint. And then it's like 8 or 10 minutes of the match. I'm like, that's not sweating off. And I was like, oh man, he must have like that old school Ultimate Warrior paint where like it really had a good sweat to get it off. And then like the next day I was online and they showed him at a tattoo parlor. I'm like, oh, that's new. And I was like, well, it's his body. Good for him.
I don't mind
that's what
it.
he wants. Good for him.
I don't mind it.
Oh, stop it.
Here's the thing that I don't understand why people are hating on it. What's his name's new tattoo with the pirate ship on his chest?
It's great.
Jack Gallagher.
That's a sick tattoo.
I don't like that one either.
No, it's beautiful. It's beautiful old school. But here's the thing. That's also on his chest, not this big fucking gaudy thing on his neck.
Everyone online in wrestling pages say that his tattoo with that ship on his chest is awful. Well, they're like, it's the worst tattoo. It's worse. Like, they're like, what one's worse? And I was like,
well, that
Cody's
shouldn't even be
his
a question.
Cody's is his logo. So if you're trying to go by what his logo is and the color and the line work, it's a gorgeous tattoo.
I think it would be much better
I don't
on the
even
back
think
of
so.
his neck.
I hate the line work.
Weird placement.
Yeah, and it's tilted.
It's tilted, and it's like on the front of his neck.
Yeah.
Jim Cornette on his show, his co-host Brian had the best analogy of it. He said, "Here's the problem with Cody's tattoos. He has a neck tattoo on his chest, and he has a chest tattoo on his neck.
That's
hilarious.
If you flip the tattoos, they don't look bad.
Yeah,
Cornette's co-host is really good. Brian Last is a good
The
host.
only thing with how do you say his name?
Which one?
Gallagher.
The only thing with Gallagher's tattoo, and listen, it's a choice, and I understand maybe why he did it, because the pain level of that is just, it's strange that he didn't tattoo the nipple.
I don't think you really can.
You can.
Can you?
You can, but it hurts.
It's not comfortable and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But just to kind of do the whole piece and then just kind of do like little
I
arches.
remember the rumor when Gallagher was supposed to be in Bellator.
Okay, he's that was okay. Just let that one go. His gimmick is he's an old school like 1800 like fisticuffs type gentleman.
It's a fantastic tattoo though,
and so it's an old school tattoo. Like the lady on his, it's traditional.
Yep.
Like everything he has, I think he had like tattoos covered up, because if you watch some 205 Live stuff, he's got an one of those, what are they called? Like the
arm sleeve thing.
Yeah, arm sleeve, right? Sleeve.
Like Tanahashi. Yeah.
He's wearing those, and it progressively gets bigger as the months go on. And he had it all the way up to his elbow. And I'm like, I wonder if he had it, but didn't want to reveal these tattoos yet until he came back with the chest tattoo.
Yeah.
Maybe he's going to pull a Matt Turner and give it to a lucky young fan.
I think I think Cody's is. I don't like the style. I think it's trash.
I think the whole tattoo sucks.
Yeah, I mean, even the style and the line work. Not that I have, because I have shitty line work on me, but I just don't like the style, and I hate it on his neck. Like if you're going to get it, get it on your fucking like
I think the middle of it, even if it was on the back,
of his neck, right,
or slightly down in the middle of his shoulder blades,
right,
or right here,
or just center it more in his neck, like under his ear.
I just think the neck's a horrible.
I think the neck would be fine if he gets a full neck tattoo.
Yeah,
now.
but then it doesn't fit him.
No,
well, then neither does that shitty tattoo he has.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like when you see now that Hulk Hogan has tattoos. Like, well, you gotta have tattoos.
Right, right, absolutely.
The only tattoo Cody should have gotten was a blotch on his stomach.
Yeah,
that would have been great.
Polka dots.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
But you get back to the match. It was good, but a little long-winded, I thought.
I think it had a great ref spot, though, when he was whipping MJF with a belt, and the ref's like, you got to stop, Cody, you got to stop. Cody's like, one more. And the ref turns his back, and lets Cody hit him one more time with the belt, because even the ref's like, all right, MJF's a prick, hit him one more time.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, that just shows you how much MJF character's over the refs. Like, all right, go, you can hit him again.
Yeah, we're gonna have you stick around if you don't mind for some of our news topics, because we have some debates if you're willing to stick around.
Sure,
all right,
fine.
cool.
3.5 stars, by the way, for that one.
Okay,
Dave Meltzer.
It's about right. Yeah.
The next match, 3 3/4 stars for Pac beating Orange Cassidy in 13 minutes.
3 3. I think I give it 4. I thought it was great.
I was listening to Meltzer and Alvarez kind of break down the pay-per-view, and they thought that Pac didn't realize how good Orange Cassidy was until he was in the ring. He was like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Yeah, I know there's two people on this podcast. That have known Orange Cassidy for a long, long time. You know how great of a
I believe Pac wrestled Fire Ant.
Now I'm gonna. Now here's the thing. Brian always tells me that. Oh yeah, he was Fire Ant or whoever, right? And
Jason,
I always
JC Ryder,
I always forget that. I always forget that I watched him a million times in Jakar, because I don't know the Orange Cassidy character.
Yeah.
I kind of tapped out of that kind of like.
Do you know Leslie
wrestling.
Butterscotch?
Actually, from you talking about the name, but I don't know.
It was
How about Pineapple Andy?
Yeah.
The name.
My favorite spot of that match is
that's Pretzel
That's
Andy.
a deep cut.
Is when he rolls him into the ring and he just keeps rolling all the way to the other end, and then he just like Pac runs around and just stares at him.
Pac does it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
But that's like the fun joke, like for if you kind of know about Orange Cassidy's really good. Wait till people see it.
Now it's funny because before Pac not Pac.
Yeah.
Before Pac became Neville, we always heard of him. We watched some stuff, never heard how it was pronounced, and then he becomes Neville or Adrian Neville, and then Neville. And now in AEW, it's Pac, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I've been saying it wrong this fucking all these years.
I always thought it was Pac when he was in Jakar and everything.
I thought it was Pac,
skinny.
too.
Yeah,
that's what we called him.
They even call him Pac on AEW. He says Pac. Everybody else says Pac.
So
He's one of those guys that when Jericho saw it on the when he knew Jericho was going to sign on that dotted line, he was going there. Like there's a lot of mutual respect between him and Jericho, and even with Harper, like. Jericho used to have, like, from what I was reading, that Jericho had a backstage secret club, and they all like had shirts with Harper's face on it, and it was like, like push this guy.
Yeah, they did.
And
I saw that picture. There's a shitload of them too.
Like Titus O'Neil, they're all wearing, like, and that's when Harper got the IC title. Like they finally gave him the IC title, and they were letting him work a little bit.
It was kind of like a version of like almost like the Click or BSK, which is backstage crew.
Yep.
Which is like Taker, Savio.
Was it like Bone Street Crew or something?
Bone Street Crew.
Yeah.
Or it was backstage crew or Bone Street. It was one of those double things like CM.
All right, but let's get to
that match was really good.
And then the main event, also getting 3 3/4, was Jon Moxley pinning Chris Jericho to win the AEW World Title.
Too soon, or we go with it?
I think there was still steam left for Jericho run, but
I would have let it go.
But I think it's always better to end things a little too early than to do it too late. But,
yeah, I agree.
If I'm Tony Khan, I let it go, or whoever makes that call, I would let it go. But
here's the thing: if Jericho is gone for the next 2 months because of his tour, then it's like.
But he's not, because they did lay out Jon Moxley.
He still might go away.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think he's going to be away the whole 2 months.
He gets signed off and all that kind of shit. Like,
or what if they do a thing where you went overboard and now you're suspended?
Yeah,
you could do that.
But then, what about the rest of the inner circle? Like. How do they fare without Jericho for 2 months? Like,
well, that's good.
I would have a thing.
I
would have a thing where Guevara just acts like he's about like, what is this guy doing? He's acting like he's Jericho,
and maybe have Jericho feud with him when he comes back.
No, I'd keep them together still.
Really?
Yeah.
Because it's like Batman or Robin.
I'd have him like when he was calling Jericho, even if it's not him on the phone. He's like, well, Jericho
that'd be great.
says to do this.
Well, I'll tell you what. There's one thing that we don't have enough of in AEW, and that's stables.
Yeah. Well, it's New Japan.
I think that I want to see them do a King of Trios now. There's so many trios now in AEW.
Apparently, like if they are going to bring a new title, there's a bunch of rumors because there's like 8 3-man teams now. So they're saying they could be like a 6-man tag team.
They like that now.
Wrestling loves doing that.
The stable teams.
Well, that 6-man title. Everyone likes that WCW early 90s 6-man title.
Mm-hmm. All right, so here's the first thing, and I think this is going to be a good one. Having you on the phone.
Oh wait, pay-per-view overall, pretty good.
Oh, yeah,
overall.
Yeah, good. I like it. I'd probably say B+.
Yeah.
Oh, and your new champion, me.
Oh, you won.
I won the card.
I forgot to check the pros.
We all did really bad.
I did. I
had
won.
the Bucks winning. I had Jericho winning. I wouldn't have guessed. Who was the unannounced people?
I think they showed somebody in the crowd, like maybe Kip Sabian or something.
Oh,
no,
yeah. So I didn't get any points there.
As like a new member of this group here, I have no idea what the fuck you guys are talking about.
I sent you codes to sign up for it a long time ago. I can still see what codes I have left that will work.
Pro wrestling scorecards. You basically make picks.
Yeah,
I asked you to do it once and you said no.
Yeah, because I hate that shit. But
I'll
do it.
It's so much fun.
It's just not for me. But
we're gonna play it again for Elimination Chamber coming up.
I'll do it. I'll do that shit.
I can name one match on that card.
Yeah,
I think there's going to be an Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah,
WWE can name one.
I actually won my first title for the Pick'ems on an AEW card. Now I won it back.
You should get a fucking actual title made. So
we do one. It's in the closet. It's a toy John
No.
Cena.
I mean get one made. So and then you have to be fucking forced to walk around.
We thought
with
about it.
We're working on it. It's something in the works.
I'll just go to a coffee shop with it. Like I'm the fucking champ. So.
Yeah, it is something in the works. But all right. So first bit of news, and I think this is something that. Definitely having two guys who are in the business and working. I'd love to hear your take on it. Joey Janela is doing his show. Spring Break. And he announced that he's going to have the Walmart guys on it, the Walmart wrestlers.
Walmart Wrestling Federation, yeah.
I think they're called the Walmart guys, and they have their names. It's just terrible.
As someone as used to who, when paying your dues, busting your ass, getting everything in there, and two guys go into a Walmart and jump off a shelf and get put on a wrestling show, what are your takes on that?
Nonsense.
Want to go first, Mr. Hunter?
Nonsense. It's a slap in the face to everyone who's actually trying to get on a WrestleMania weekend show down there. And there's plenty of guys that are good that do wacky shit in wrestling that are trained. You get these two guys that think there's something because they wrestle in Walmart. It's like, yeah, I get it for the thing, but they're gonna go out there, they're gonna shit the bed immediately. And it's like, do you have someone beat them up? Like, and then do you have them sign a waiver so they can't sue when you send someone out to beat them up? Like, there's no winning there. Oh, look at the fucking wacky guys from Walmart.
Yeah.
It could be a spot that could go over to somebody else.
There's two school of thoughts. I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm 50-50. Kind of like when when GCW brought in Superhuman. You got to understand, okay, they're not trained. We're two guys that are trained on the road, at the gym, diet, yada, yada, yada. At the same time, look at these guys and look at Superhuman, and you got to look at the promoter, where these guys are getting, I don't know how many views on their YouTube or whatever, 50,000, 60,000, 70,000. I can say nothing I've ever done got 70,000 views. So it's like, as your promoter, do I book Matt Turner and Andy Hatter, who they maybe they've gotten 1,000, 2,000 views, or these guys who did a Spanish fly off a couch in Walmart got 70, 80,000 views. So it's just like, you know what, you can bitch, you can moan about it, like, well, man, I've been in the business 17 years, how come I'm not getting that shot? At the same time, hey, man, good on them. Wrestling's supposed to be fun. I hope they get paid well. I hope the show makes money. I hope they have fun, and I hope nobody gets hurt.
That's
so I'm not bitter about anything. I'm not one of these old salty guys that's like, why not me? Well, why not me? Maybe, they have something that I don't. And clearly, like I said, they're getting 50, 60,000 views on their YouTube. So, hey, man, good on them.
That's a great point.
Now, granted, if they put those guys in the ring with me and Andy Hatter, would Andy Hatter probably run them through some spots and blow them up? Yes. Would he probably then tag me in and let me cave their chest in? Probably.
Ooh, I'll tell you what, man. You hit that kid over the weekend with that chop. He got chopped by like 4 or 5 people. That when you had him in the not up on the turnbuckle, but when you hit him in an open ring chop, man, that did not look like it was a good time. You have a very good chop.
No, I'm not in the business, obviously, but as a fan, I always because I'll read like backstage stuff or whatever, and I'll read the dirt sheets and shit. And when you see people are like, well, so and so should have got that spot instead of. I mean, I always look back to like when Jay Leno was in WCW.
Oh wow, that one is a good wacky one.
Because I was speculating that. Sorry to totally.
No, go ahead. That's obviously more important.
PN News is going to be in the Clusterfuck Battle Royal.
Yeah, but he's a wrestler.
Yeah.
But if you had people like, and I'm built like PN News. I'm like the fucking white PN News, by the way. Yo baby, yo baby, yo.
Yo baby, yo.
So, yeah, you have people like Jay Leno. You've always had people like these people that I guess you could argue they don't deserve that spot.
Yeah.
But they're doing some kind of business, and obviously that the promoter thinks that there's some worth. So I get that. I get that bringing these people, like he said, maybe they have so many likes, so there's going to be eyes. But as a wrestler, yeah, you could be like, but I should be that fucking, or somebody else should.
Guys, I'm gonna break this down real simple. Think about it. What's the wrestling event over 30 years ago that changed the business forever? WrestleMania 1.
Yeah.
Who was in the main
Mr.
event?
T.
Who was the manager? Who was the manager that was in that match in Mr. T's corner? Jimmy Snuka, Jimmy Snuka, who's a legend in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah.
So that you could easily say, well, how come wasn't Hogan and Jimmy Snuka?
Right.
Because it would have worked on a national. It would have worked on a local level. It wouldn't have worked on a national level. But not only that, who was the special guest referee? Muhammad Ali. So you could have said, well, how come so-and-so didn't get that spot? Would have sold out? Yes. Would have had sold all that money in closed circuit and made Vince McMahon, basically almost a millionaire overnight? Probably not.
It's like with the Saudis, with the Saudi stuff. Like, people bitch about who's being booked. It's like, dude, it's money.
It's a sold show. It's a sold show.
Here's the thing with the Saudi show that I understand why people have the beef because of the country and their politics and their beliefs.
Of course.
Yeah, but here, man,
a lot of money.
But when they show kids in the crowd and they're like 7-8-year-old kids and they're eating it up, man,
you should give them the finger.
A part of me is like, that's enough payoff right there for me to justify them being there because they legit are fans of the product. So
they don't know what's going on with that country, and they're born in that country. It's not like it's their choice.
I love that there's women now like wrestling.
Yeah,
and it's happened again, and it's like, wow, this is great, dude. They're
a black girl this time.
Okay, I like the fact that there's a bunch of Muslims chanting Goldberg.
Yeah,
like,
do they know?
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
They're like, wait a minute, he's Jewish. Please don't have him back.
I mean, you have Paul Heyman.
You didn't tell us that.
I don't know if you heard. They all like did Paul Heyman's like his
call,
everything.
Okay,
they were chanting it. Like it was like, this is fucking great, man.
So we kind of already did this one already.
Just to kind of to boil down on the Walmart guys too. I think they're going to be in that clusterfuck battle royal, and there's no cap on that. Like I think last time they had like 70 people in there,
came out for like 3 hours.
They're not really taking anybody's spot. They're going to probably get thrown out. Like last year, the guy from Wheatus was in it. The year before that, the Invisible Man won the battle royal.
As he should have.
My only issue with the Walmart people is I think you're promoting that bullshit. You're promoting stuff like that that's like now I think it's
Some
unsafe.
And if it was on like a regular wrestling show, I would be more. But this is like a adults only, like, NC-17,
like when you
intentionally wackiest stuff possible.
When you talk about like the dude from Wheatus, the dude from Wheatus isn't going out to Walmart, and doing unsafe shit, and going to have kids emulating him. I think that people, because it's the internet, they want to emulate all that bullshit. Because this is what these kids are doing. They're emulating.
They're going to say, well, these guys went in Walmart.
Well, we can do. Let's go to Target.
WWF used to tell us, don't try this at home.
Go to Walmart and do it.
Yeah, see.
Here's my biggest thing with the Walmart guys. If they're in the Cluster F Battle Royal Rumble, and they say they're in the ring with some like 9 or 10-year-old like hard hitting vet, you don't think that they're not going to take a pop shot at this guy? You know what I mean? So this way they make them look good.
They're in there with Nick Gage.
That's why I'm tuning in.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. Say they're in there with Nick Gage, right? And again, these guys are getting 50, 60,000 views on the YouTube, and they know, okay, there's and these people that view this stuff on their YouTube are like, man, they're going to be in this battle royal and wrestling ring. I want to see it. Whoever they're in the ring with, if they're aware that they're going to be viewed by like 40, 50,000 people like the next day, they're probably going to do something like, either stiff them or drop them on their head or something to this would like, wow, I saw
just Spike Dudley.
I tuned into the YouTube to see the Walmart guys to do something crazy, but this Nick Gage guy that I know nothing about, wow, he is crazy, and now he just gained 10,000 viewers, 20,000 viewers, 30,000 viewers. So it's almost a free commercial.
Everybody should write to Nick Gage right now and fucking ask him to do something like that.
I'm sure they're gonna have somebody beat them guys up.
Get our buddy Deshaun Pratt in there. He gets 60,000 views in his sleep.
Yeah, that's nothing for him. That's so then our other news topic here that kind of had a lot of debates here. Let's make sure the table's nailed down. No one's flipping tables. So MJF, I don't know if you've seen this, Matt, went to a signing, and I guess a kid came up and unprovoked, I guess we'll say. I don't know how much.
How can
I buy
a 7-year-old
into that.
provoke you?
I mean, like if the kid was there, like,
fuck you.
No, if the kid was like,
you didn't see this kid at Outbreak, the show Tony and I were at.
Yeah.
A 7-year-old could provoke you.
Yes, but I mean, the kid be like, "Hey, I hope Cody kicks your ass," or "I hope Cody beats you this weekend."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
right
like,
here.
and then he's just like, "If you kid could do an MJF stuff,"
right here.
but MJF flipped off a kid. It was funny. I'm sorry, I thought it was funny.
You think everything's funny?
I saw it. It's a work. Pro wrestling is a work. He's working his character. Good on him.
Absolutely.
Did he hit the kid? Did he spit on the kid? No. I'm somebody who my daughter goes to a whole bunch of shows. If somebody flipped her off, okay, it is what it is. If somebody pushed her, shoved her, or spit on her,
right,
then all bets are off. But no, he was just playing his character. He didn't. He just getting heat. No, I have zero issues with that at all.
I think
good on him for playing his character.
I understand the whole character thing now, and this is probably because I'm fucking old and I have like 30 kids. At least, or 3, whatever. I think that there's a line. Like I wouldn't want MJF. Like if I had a 7-year-old kid and I was in line, and I know because I keep hearing, and it's not just from Tony. I hear from other people too. Or I read. It's like, well, you know what MJF was, but I didn't know at that point, up until that he gives 7-year-old kids a finger. I just wouldn't know that because I wouldn't think a grown man's going to give a little kid a finger. Even if he's a heel. I just wouldn't think he would do that. Because I also wouldn't think, as a heel, he would go to a kid and go, hey, kid, there's no fucking such thing as Santa. Because I'd be like, I would take issue. Like, whoa, fuck you, dude. That's not your place to say that. But you could argue, well, he's a heel. And see, Tony's smiling because he would be okay with that.
Yeah,
and I think
Tony would be okay with him spitting on a kid.
I'm okay with that, too. But I hate kids. But I'll be honest. But like, you're going, like I said on the chat, if you go on Howard Stern, don't get offended when he starts asking about sex, because you know it's coming. Even if you bring your kid.
But I would never know that's coming, is what I'm saying.
But you would know it, though, if you were following other MJF things, because, like, 2 months ago, a kid in a wheelchair was there, and he said, "Hey, kid, stand up."
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up. Like, kid,
stand up when I'm talking to you.
Like, right, and I'm not okay with that.
Yeah, right.
I thought it was an adult.
I'm just saying, if you've seen that,
Yeah,
well,
it was
he's
adult,
like
yeah.
a young man,
Oh,
like
it was
20 years old.
He thought it was
either
funny.
way,
There's a difference, though. I said earlier, dude. I think there's a difference if you see a kid or somebody that's fucking 18 and old, or you know that they're like a teenager or something.
I don't know. It's
Go in the 80s and try and ask a heel for an autograph.
Yeah.
See what happens.
But that's
So
why
didn't
they
the
don't.
honky tonk man give you the finger when you were a kid?
No.
Oh, he just ignored
No, he just
you, right?
ignored us. I saw him
Okay.
on I-95. He was in a car next to us, and I waved, and he turned his head, and I hated him ever since.
No, I think he would do that
Fuck you-
today.
Fuck you,
So-
Wade Ferris.
He just tells you he had the swine flu.
But the thing is I'm okay. I know that they did a lot of shit back in the day. Shit changes.
Yeah.
Shit evolves. And I think that there's a line. I think there's a box of things like you put. And I think telling a young kid, especially like 7 years old, there's no such thing as Santa. I think that should be like.
Yeah, the only thing we
off the
disagree on is
table.
where the line is.
I think
That's what we
right.
disagree.
I think that should be off the table, and I think that giving a kid the finger, I think is off the give an 18-year-old the finger. I'm okay with that. I don't give a fuck.
I don't know, man. Just growing up with the Attitude Era, and Stone Cold came out, drank
I
beer,
did too.
and flipped off the whole crowd.
Yeah.
And I was
And the
7
kids
years
were
old.
doing it right back.
And I was 7 years old telling my teacher to suck
Absolutely.
my dick and doing
Right.
crotch
the first
chops.
attention I got was telling a kid to suck my dick.
Yeah.
Like I was doing crotch
You do
But
chops.
dude,
understand?
you're
You do
also-
understand? There's a difference if I just put up my middle finger to the camera right here, and if I put it right in front of your face. There's a big difference.
If
disagree.
you're going like this, if you're like, fuck the world, and no, it is because it's a personal thing. Like,
Yeah.
I go, Tony, you're a piece of shit. Or if I just
Now-
say, everybody in the world's a piece of shit,
Now-
you're going to be less offended unless I go, Brian.
If we're in a bar,
You're okay.
If I'm in a bar
Thank you.
and we're just in a social situation, and you come up and flip me off, I still probably wouldn't get offended. I would laugh, but that's a different situation. When you're at wrestling event, you're in. It's either I don't care if you're getting an autograph, if you're going to the mall to meet a wrestler, if you're going to meet someone who is there to put on a production. They are there to be.
I get it. He's in character, dude.
Him flipping me off is him being.
You're an adult.
that-
But you're an adult, and I get that he's going to he's going to do this whole
But
heel thing.
shouldn't the dad know?
Exactly.
But
If you're-
yes,
if you're
he should. But I don't
putting-
know that he knew his son was going to get flipped off.
I
I
think
think
he
if you
knew
know
something
MJF
was gonna
enough
happen.
that you're going to pay money to meet him, you probably should.
Because I watch AEW. If I had a child, I would know enough. Maybe I'll have them meet Jungle Boy. Maybe I won't have them
Not
meet
only
Jungle
that,
Boy.
Would you stand in line if you had a 7-year-old kid? Would you stand in line for your kid to go meet Joey Ryan?
Probably not.
Why?
Because
Well,
What if he? What if?
Penis
But I don't
guy.
think
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to. But I don't.
I don't think he would whip out his dick or
I
anything.
don't think he's going to whip out his dick, and I don't think he's going to say, "Hey, kid, grab my dick,"
Yeah.
because he can't do that.
But if
And
he-
he's also, I
There's
don't.
laws in this country.
But if your
Tony.
choices were Joey Ryan and Jungle Boy
Look,
and then
the-
Cody,
the
well, I'm
Miz-
going to Jungle Boy and
Look,
Cody.
Yeah,
the-
100%.
The Miz is a heel, right?
Yeah.
The Miz is a heel. If I take my kid to go get an autograph from the Miz, I'm not expecting the Miz to give my fucking 7-year-old.
Well, he's
the
under
middle-
a PG award.
Yeah, I think
like
he must be
he would
not-
get
Nobody
fired.
in
He'll probably be
WWE
fired.
does.
He has threatened to rip kids' autographs up if you don't say you.
But that's different than giving a fucking middle finger.
Well,
My thing
they're
is
two
that
different
dad
styles.
stood in line for who knows how long. So they're like, he watched MJF treat like 7 or 8 people like shit before he even walked up to. So he had to think in his head.
he may not have.
We're
think
probably going
this
to walk
was-
up here and he's probably either going to say something fucking crazy to me, tell me I'm a piece of shit in front of my kid. He's going to tell me that I'm ugly, my kid's ugly. He's going to say some off the wall shit.
Yeah, I think
he might
I
not
think
expect the
there's
finger.
definitely some responsibility on
The dad and the kid
Absolutely.
walked up
Absolutely.
as bright gingers. Like he had so much to work with.
I mean, because basically what MJF is. Does anybody know about the restaurant Dick's Last Resort?
Yeah, where they insult.
Where they insult
Yeah,
you, yeah.
that's what MJF.
Yeah, the
it's a
waitresses.
chain restaurant.
It's, They're paid. The waitresses will come and insult you.
Oh, okay.
They'll
Yeah.
throw
Like a roast.
napkins at you.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never heard of it.
But all is well in the world because the dad did exactly what he's supposed to do on social media: is cry about it. And
Did
then
he do that?
He didn't cry about it.
And
Did
then-
he do that knowing, hey, if I do this, I
He
might
got-
get some free
he got-
stuff?
Now
Free-
that's
he-
a worker.
He got free
Was the
stuff.
dad working?
He got free stuff, and he got upgraded to VIP.
Dude.
Yeah, was that his whole thing all along?
But
I
you know
would-
what?
I
We
would
could
say
we
so.
could we could say
I mean, I don't know.
that happens with everything though. It's like, oh, this person wanted to do that so they can.
Yeah.
It happened
It's
to Kevin
easy-
Owens. A kid put his hand out, and Kevin Owens the heel, and Kevin Owens says, "Don't shake my hand. You're wearing a John Cena shirt. Go buy a real shirt like my shirt." He goes, "You know what? Don't buy my shirt. I don't want you to wear my shirt
But they-
because you're not cool." And walked away. The mom
They
cried.
always WWE always does it. They always compensate people. They'll always go and they'll be like, all right, we'll take care of you.
Yeah,
And-
because they're a global billion-dollar company. So, like, yeah, for them to give that kid a $20 T-shirt, well, it probably cost them $2 to make it.
Yeah, probably
because
took
of,
them
because of the
backstage.
bloke that is. Yeah, it's not that big of
I
a
don't know.
deal.
I just take my kid to a wrestling show and I explain to them.
I don't think
this
it's
is
that
what
big
you're-
of a deal. I just think it's a bad look for like because if an executive from TNT sees it, Tony, you because you're in the mindset of like a 20-year-old, like from that.
I'm not the only one who thinks this. You have
they're all in a mindset of 20-year-olds.
You two are the only one on that ship,
we're old and mature. That's
and
why.
you centered on my thing. My problem isn't with MJF. My problem's with MJF's fans.
Exactly.
And MJF is in the wrong business. MJF he could solve our energy crisis because nobody produces more cheap heat than that guy.
No,
I just want to point out real quick. This is coming from two Philadelphia Eagle fans who MJF
have
is
the worst fan base.
And
ever.
MJF is literally their fan base on their football team. Just put that out there.
Not.
It is.
It's really
my favorite part. Eat the shit. Eat the shit.
Yeah, eat shit. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's my favorite part.
Hey, you only win your first Super Bowl once.
There are worse stories that come. I said this joke to you.
Eagle fans will pee on old men.
That's dude.
I'm sure all team fans would.
They'll
There are
dump
so many
beer
worse
on kids' heads that are standing in the stadium.
That's not even.
That has happened.
Let's stop it.
I've heard, it has happened.
No.
I have a story of my friend that is a Vikings fan that went to an Eagles game. You want to hear it real quick?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'm
sure it didn't go great. Yeah.
So it was a Monday Night Football game, and he was wearing it was in Philly. It was the Vikings were down by I think 7, so they scored a touchdown in the last minute to tie it, and they won at a field goal in overtime. So as him and his wife are going to to take the bus back, he's like, I got to go to the bathroom. So he went into one porta potty. A bunch of Eagles fans saw that he was wearing a Vikings jersey, and as soon as he got in the porta potty, they dumped it over.
So there you go.
How's that funny?
It's not a kid.
How do we know that these people were actually from Philly, though?
Yeah.
All right. It's like, look,
here comes the
I went to the traveling virus tour. All right, where Bill Burr berated Philly. I was there. I was in the
gorgeous.
crowd. It wasn't. It was dumb.
It was gorgeous.
Here's
the greatest
the thing.
moment of comedy
Here's the thing.
history.
I was there. A lot of those people. First of all, he wasn't even in Philly when he said it. He was in Jersey when he said it.
He was in Camden, and Deshaun Pratt's going to hear you say that, Tony. And you're going to see him in a couple weeks.
And most of the people that were there were fucking from out of town. They weren't even from Philly. That
because people from Philly.
But either way, they booed every
ticket.
Single comedian that walked up there until Boober got there. Like they deserve to get shit.
It's because they booed Don Marrera.
They booed Don Marrera.
Yeah.
They booed Don Marrera.
The whole crowd sucked dick.
Camden is a shithole though. So just
Camden is. It's actually the waterfront's starting to get built up.
Yeah. What the Twitter Center? What was it called?
It was the East Center.
All right, well, let's get through our last two topics here, and we'll let Matt go.
Okay.
We don't keep him forever, and we are going a little long, but I was expecting that.
So fuck MJF.
MJF is a god.
He's really not.
Here's the thing.
I'm just stirring you.
I disagree with Tony on so much. Me and Tony, we have private chats where we fight with each other more than we do in the regular chats. But I agree with him about this. But
no, and that's fine. I just think that the line is different than where the youth. I don't think you should be giving a kid a fucking the middle finger. I don't. It doesn't matter if that's his gimmick. Just change it up a little bit when it comes to a little kid.
I'm just banking all this for football season. I'm just telling you.
But dude, you have no fans, all right? Fucking Redskins don't have fans.
For football season.
Did anybody happen to see the "Let's Go Flyers" chants at the Washington Capitals game in D.C.?
I did not.
Yeah.
They just had. By the way, who was just there?
Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre was at the Flyers game.
Oh yeah.
Huh? But anyway, I just don't like MJF as a. I think he's okay in a ring. I think he's.
I just think you're dying on the hill that you don't like MJF and more.
I'm not dying on any hill. I just don't. I think he's overrated.
I think you're sticking
corny.
your flag on the kid. But when in reality you're trying to stick your flag on the hill that you don't like MJF.
What are you talking about?
I just think the kid thing, it just makes it more.
No, it has nothing to do with the kid thing. Brad, do I ever like MJF?
No.
I've never liked. I think he's so corny, overrated.
That's what he's saying, though. He's saying that you dislike MJF so much that if it could have been something smaller than this, and you would blow it up.
Or if it was Jericho that flipped off the kid, you'd be like, oh, well,
No. I would definitely think that.
That's what
he don't like Jericho anymore.
What are you talking about?
He had Donald Trump's kid on his podcast. He hated it.
What are you talking about?
I'm just
oh, fuck are you talking about?
Hey, Jericho's podcast this week where he talks about how he lost the belt. That was very good.
Was it
amazing?
I'm listening to the one now where they went to the prison that Shawshank Redemption was filmed at.
Oh yeah, listen to that one. Yeah, the girl sounds so hot. I want to see what she looks like. Anyway,
we were listening to the Nile episode on the way.
And
that's a very good one too.
He actually cut a lot of the Donald Trump Jr. Spot out of the podcast because he was talking about like anti transgender stuff.
Yeah.
No, he should have kept that in there.
And Jericho cut
I think
it out.
he took it. I think he took it off because I remember
did.
I went to
No,
listen
well,
to
that's
it.
what I'm saying. He should have kept it because I need more fucking eyes on that.
It was probably
that type of
a
rhetoric.
request thing. It was probably like, hey, like there was
No,
probably
no.
like there people were like, hey, can you
Oh,
cut that
maybe,
shit
yeah, you
out?
never
'Cause,
know.
like, that makes
He
us look
said
bad.
on the podcast to Nyla, he goes, I made the decision to cut it because
okay.
I felt that he wasn't educated enough on the process to talk
Do you
about
think
it.
though maybe
That
he
doesn't
was
stop
trying
the
to?
Trump people from talking any other time.
yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy either way. But I just hate. Like, I'm okay with all the bad fucking press for that side anyway. So
So the last little bit of news here, Viceland. Yeah, I don't have the list in front of me, but they just announced some heavy hitting wrestling
I haven't
stories.
seen any of them at all.
Oh, they're good.
What are they
dude.
So
even on?
good.
there's
They're good.
Benoit on this one, Owen Hart.
It's literally on their own channel. It's like the Wasteland channel, but you can find it on like
You can get on
online.
YouTube as well.
The first season, especially the
Hulu
Bruiser
and
Brody
Hulu.
one, was incredible.
Yeah, that was really good.
I don't have the list in front of me, but I think I can do it from memory. They have Owen Hart. They're doing the Benoit murder suicide. They're doing New Jack. In fact, that was when they teased on their Twitter account because they had shown a guy dressed like Mass Transit.
Okay.
Did you guys ever watch New Jack? He was that like remember like I sent you guys like all those shoot things with, like that.
He's another
guy.
one. I think it's just a
I would never book him ever.
black eye on.
He
on
gives this
professional wrestling.
giant rant on a shoot dude about how much of a piece of shit Chris Benoit is, and it's like Chris Benoit is a piece of shit for what he did. You know what I mean? Like at the end of his life, but like you're the person that judges a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit.
Yeah.
There's a thing
he
of
openly bragged that he tried to kill a guy.
That's what I mean.
Well, he talks about having 4 justifiable homicides. He does that in Beyond the Mat. No, New Jack. There was a thing with him. It was like they're just trying to do a wacky shoot interview. It was him, the Iron Sheik, and Honky Tonk Man, and they're yelling about Chris Benoit. But yeah, so it's going to be New Jack, the
Owen
Hart Benoit, Brawl for All.
Yeah, and then there was like an older guy, like
Herb Abrams.
Yeah, I don't know him.
Oh, Herb Abrams.
He was the UWF promoter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not Bill Watts UWF, the one that came after that. It's funny because when the GSW show, they were calling the Battle Royal the Blackjack Brawl for a while. They did that too.
Oh, okay.
And he was a promoter in the late 80s, early 90s who had a reputation for like not paying people. He somehow got Dr. Death on the Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
Was he Paul Heyman?
Yeah, pretty much. He hated Dave Meltzer. He had a job guy that was called The Observer, Davey Meltzer.
Observer.
He brought in Bruno Sammartino to be his color commentator.
Oh wow!
And one of the crazy things about him is
I didn't like Bruno doing commentary in WWF.
He wasn't good on commentary.
No.
one of the crazy things about him was that he died in the mid 90s. I think it was like a drug overdose or he had a heart attack due to drugs. He was found in his office building with, I think they may have been prostitutes, naked, covered in baby oil. He was running around the office building, smashing things with a baseball bat.
What a way to go.
That's a great way to fucking go out, though.
Season 1, if you want to go back and check it out, is The Match Made in Heaven, which is the Randy Savage Miss Elizabeth one, the Montreal Screwjob,
which has a lot of Jim Cornette in it.
The Killing of Bruiser Brody, The Last of the Von
Which is
Erichs.
why I may never go to Puerto Rico in my life.
Yeah, I have no desire to.
Yeah, the Last of the Von Erichs, The Mysterious Death of Gorgeous Gino
Hernandez.
Love that one.
That was a
love
great one.
that.
And
You need to watch. You need to watch the. I didn't mean to cut you off, but you
Yeah.
need to watch the World Class one and the Gino one back to back because Gino Hernandez was a huge fixture in World Class Championship wrestling. You guys, you need to watch them back to back.
Now, I have a question for you guys for Matt and what's your name again? Andy.
Yeah.
Would you guys ever? What was it? WCCW?
WWC.
WWC.
Never.
That's right.
World Wrestling Council. I would never go to Puerto Rico.
That's what I
Never.
Good. Thank you.
Actually, I know somebody gave 2 thumbs up over there for the Bruiser Brody one. I actually just watched last week. High Spots had a Bruiser Brody documentary called Wrestling's Last Rebel, where it's basically that, but way more expanded.
Is there a lot of like Frank?
Way more
Is there
expanded.
a lot of Frank Goodish like behind the scenes stuff in it?
Yeah, a lot of his wife on there, a lot of Abdul the Butcher, a lot of Tony Atlas, a lot of Dutch Mantel.
Did you ever see his son? What his son looks like?
No.
His son, Bruiser Brody's son, looks just like him, just clean shaven and very skinny.
Then season 1 ends with Fabulous Moolah, and then season 2 is going to be Owen Hart, Chris Benoit, New Jack, David Schultz,
Dr. D.
Jimmy Snuka, the Road Warriors, Dino Bravo, Herb Adams, and Abrams and the Brawl for All.
Do you know Dr. D, Tony?
I do not.
Dave Schultz. Yeah, he's the one
Who'd
that
he
smacked
punch?
John Stossel.
Yeah, John. Yeah.
No, wait. Is that Dr. D or the David Schultz that
Dr. D.
Kurt Angle for the Olympics? Okay.
Dr. D.
Oh, I just pulled up his picture. He's the guy that they said wrestling was fake and he smacked him.
Yeah, he's the one who smacked him. I think he open hand slapped him. But he's got a great look up. Go to YouTube and look up. It's him and Mean Gene Okerlund, and he's talking about women. It's one of the funniest fucking one of the funniest.
Gene Okerlund totally breaks.
That open hands. Like he was getting ready to do like a 4-month run with Hogan, like all around the territory, and that killed his career.
He's going to be big too.
And correct me if I'm wrong. He was being managed by Piper, right?
Yeah, because what they were doing is Piper would not wrestle on TV. You had to pay to see Piper. You had to pay to see him on the house shows. Yeah, Piper would not wrestle on TV. But that was the thing. He managed Piper. Piper managed Paul Orndorff, Bob Orton, and David Schultz, and that basically killed his career because obviously look what happened to Orton. Legend. Orndorff, same thing, all in the Hall of Fame, and David Schultz was almost as talented. I mean, I think Orton and Paul Orndorff were two of the most talented heels in the '80s, and Schultz was like basically right behind them. Yeah, that's basically just killed his career. Yeah, Vince buried him after that.
He's actually, I think he's going to be at that convention in Philly with the House of Hardcore
really?
show.
Wow.
Yeah, I actually might not be able to make that now. Something came up that day. Wow. I can't talk about it because it's.
I'd love to meet that guy. I would love to fucking meet him.
So the last bit of news we're going to cover, and then we'll let you go here, Matt. The Observer year-end awards come out.
Yeah, this is like hot off the presses. This like literally came out.
We kind of did our year-end review announcements, and some of them we got close, but some of them not so much.
Do you want me to run through just the wrestling ones or wrestling and MMA?
Just wrestling.
Just wrestling. I'll give the top 3 for everything.
Okay.
Luthez Ric Flair Award, which is Wrestler of the Year. 3rd place, Will Ospreay. 2nd, Kazuchika Okada. Number 1, Chris Jericho.
That's a shame. I mean, Jericho had a great year, but how is it not Okada and Ospreay 1 and 2?
Well,
in my opinion.
Will Ospreay won ours, and Andy and I were like the power block to make that happen.
His last year was
Tyler.
insane.
Oh yeah, Tyler
was very high on Ospreay too. I had Adam Cole in my year.
Yeah, he definitely snuck in there the last. He was a top 10 player, but those last 2 or 3 months, he definitely really rose his stock up.
Yeah.
Tag Team of the Year, 3rd place, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. 2nd place, the Young Bucks. 1st place, Lucha Brothers.
Yeah, I agree with that one.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know if I'd have Lucha Brothers number 1.
I don't think I have number 1.
I would have had Fish and O'Reilly number 1.
That's who won ours. Is the Undisputed Era.
Just because the Young Bucks wrestled for half the year, and Lucha Brothers were kind of sporadic too.
Yeah. Yeah, we gave.
No, they were all over. They were all over the place. They were while the whole AEW thing was happening. They were wrestling over in AAA.
Yeah.
Best on interviews, AEW dominated here. Moxley was 4th, and your top 3 are MJF, Cody, and Chris Jericho. Jericho.
Who else would you really say?
Yeah.
Yeah, like 5th was Zack Sabre Jr. And here's a good one that's very underrated. Number 6, Nick Aldis.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe was number 10. Promotion of the year, number 3, WWE. Number 2, AEW. Number 1, New Japan.
Yep.
I'm fine with that.
Agree.
That's easy. Not even close.
We put NXT number 1, right?
Yeah. Well, we separated.
WWE.
They didn't separate WWE and NXT like we did.
Yeah, we said WWE NXT. Yeah.
Still, even the best of NXT doesn't even come close to what New Japan did last year, in my opinion. I don't think it's even close. I think New Japan has just dominated over the last decade, and last year to me was no exception.
It's so weird how people have different opinions of wrestling and what they like. Because
I don't watch New Japan. So.
There's a flavor for everybody. That's
right.
Great thing.
That's what's amazing about wrestling because you know that there's somebody who's going to watch Power and go, "This is better than anything that they're doing over in Japan."
It's subjective.
Because it's different, right? It's so subjective, and it's that's what I love about pro wrestling.
I mean, there's actually people who like Baron Corbin. They think he's good. You know,
there is.
Or MJF.
I like Baron Corbin and MJF.
Oh God. Wait till you be first in line to get that Best of Baron Corbin DVD.
He's going to be like, after that, Janelle Spriggs like, those Walmart guys aren't that bad. I like that. I like when they did the flip.
Listen, I'm still dying on my horse that I think...
Hill?
I'm dying on my horse. He's going to die on his horse.
I'm going to die on my horse on the hill and roll down with it. That I will 100% go back and have Jinder Mahal as champion than Seth Rollins again.
Oh, God.
Stop.
He was more entertaining as a champion.
Top 5 worst WWE World Champions of all time.
I don't think anybody's going to agree with you on that one, dude.
Top 5 worst.
At least I had Brian agreeing with me on the line.
You don't need to agree with me.
That's fine.
Classic Tony Dong take.
You're on that horse on that hill alone.
Alone.
You and your horse.
And it's on an island away from everybody else.
Do you think he would have liked Great Khali?
Yes.
I think he would have.
But also like. He reminded like the Iron Sheik's.
He would have been like Great Khali was like
Iron Sheik
Andre.
could wrestle.
Dude, don't compare it to Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik was an Olympic level wrestler.
I know, but
Great Khali could barely walk.
Not Great Khali.
He's talking about Jinder.
I think Jinder's heat and everything he was doing wasn't amazing.
But he had X-Pac heat, dude. He didn't have like he wasn't. It was just because he was awful.
It wasn't Ciampa when he was a bad guy.
You needed the Singh brothers to bump for him, basically,
and that was entertaining to me. I thought the whole package was fun.
And then
if they would have slow build Jinder, I could have been like, I could have stomached it.
And that's what that's what's great about wrestling. You could love that.
There's a flavor for everyone.
Hey, let's go back to these awards.
Best weekly TV show: number 3, NWA Power; number 2, NXT; number 1, AEW Dynamite.
Who could argue?
Do they have best announcer?
I think NXT. I prefer NXT, but that's just a personal.
Is best announcer on there, and is Morrow the winner?
No.
We will get there.
We will get there.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's on there.
Match of the year: number 3, Cody versus Dustin; number 2, Tanahashi versus Kenny Omega from Wrestle Kingdom; number 1, Will Ospreay versus Shingo Takagi from the Tokyo Dome.
And we picked.
I had one and two. I had 1 and 2 flipped. That's very close to me. I had 1 and 2 flipped.
We had Cody and Dustin as number 1, and I think we had Shingo and Ospreay as number 2.
That was so good.
Yeah.
I think our number
That's the
3,
Super Juniors, right?
Number 2, I think, was Adam Cole and Gargano from New York, and then
New
Shingo
York.
and Ospreay.
Yeah.
And then the next one, that's an MMA one.
Do they have women?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Okay.
U.S. Canada MVP. So just U.S. and Canada. Adam Cole 3, Cody 2, Jericho 1. And then Nick Gage number 5
Jeez.
with Becky Lynch. So that's a integrated thing.
Okay.
Becky Lynch and Nick Gage were tied for.
She's the man. So
I know who I'd rather
Johnny
watch
Gargano.
wrestle.
Japanese MVP Kento Miyahara number 3, number 2 Will Ospreay, number 1
I was
Kazuchika
gonna say,
Okada.
well, who's number 1? Who would argue that?
Only
That's
7.
awesome.
Only
That's awesome that they had Kento Miyahara. That just shows you New Japan's making a resurgence, like over Ibushi and Tanahashi. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and only 7 people got votes. Number 4 was Kota, number 5 was Naito, number 6 was Konosuke Takeshita, and number 7 was Tanahashi.
If you've never watched Miyahara, type him in YouTube. Watch him; he's really good.
Tony, just real quick, why do you not watch it? It just doesn't interest you, or
No,
you
I
just never have time? Or
I don't.
what?
I don't have the subscription anymore. I had it for a week, and then the run I had the subscription, no pay-per-views came, and I couldn't figure out how to use the subscription because I couldn't find like the English translation. Like it wasn't user friendly for me.
Gotcha.
Like
Yeah.
where I can go and be like, oh, here's.
But if it was accessible, is it something you be or do you just
yeah, I
still
would watch
like?
it.
Oh, really?
But the only problem is I don't know. Like they're not a weekly. I'm so conditioned to be a wrestling fan for a weekly story.
Sure, yeah.
So when I watch New Japan, I don't know what's going on.
Give it a try during the G1 because there's something every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Brian watches. I just
Like I'm just now getting used to like the indie promotions where I go month to month and I can
Right.
keep up with it because I'm there to catch on to that story. But like it would take me a little bit of watching Japan to get into it. Like AEW took me a little bit because I didn't know the characters, I didn't know the people, and it took me a while to find who I like or who I can go to. And that translation is going to be a challenge for me as well.
Did you have the Fire Stick?
I do, yeah.
It's right. And all you do is download it. It goes right to English.
Okay, yeah. See, when I first got it, it didn't have that. It was like really. I would use the app and it would take you to a web browser. Then it would use.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's weird.
It was really weird
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah, now they have. They need to put the app on Xbox and PlayStation.
You know when I had it is when we did Liger as our topic.
Okay.
And I went and I used the app then to watch Liger matches,
Okay,
and
yeah.
it was so hard to use.
The app needs a lot work.
I use Google Chrome. I just hook up my TV to my laptop through an HDMI cable, and Google Chrome has an automatic translation function. Will make it English anyway. You don't even have to click the English button.
Read Japanese like I did.
Do that too.
Just learn Japanese.
Mexico MVP was number 3 LA Park, number 2 Roosh, number 1 Ray Phoenix.
Oh.
Now is these guys who only wrestle in Mexico?
No, Ray Phoenix is one of the Lucha Bros.
Lucha Bros. Yeah.
But he was like a single star.
And Roosh is the ROH champion.
He was Triple H or Triple A champion.
Yeah, he beat
Triple H.
Kenny for the AAA title.
I don't know. Maybe it's hard to like Andrade. I thought had a good year, but
No, they're talking about people who do wrestles at some point in
Roosh
Mexico.
with Andrade?
They're both in Los Ingobernables.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the original. Yep.
And then the Europe MVP, number 3 David Starr, number 2 Will Ospreay, number 1 Walter.
I'm just say, how does
I don't think Walter should count.
how does
Oh, really?
fucking
UK is leaving the European Union soon.
how is what's his name? What not?
Zack Sabre Jr.?
No, what's his
Thatcher. Wait.
Broserades.
Pete Dunne?
Pete Dunne. Maybe
because he wrestled in the U.S. most of the year.
Yeah.
But he did both.
Yeah.
But he spent most of the year
I think
in the
they're
US.
not counting WWE UK.
You have to look at it, guys. You have to look at it. Okay, Walter's number one. So he wrestles
Pete Dunne was
for
six, by the way.
No, wow.
Walter's the champion, and he wrestles for WWE UK. So the most watched wrestling company in the UK is WWE UK, and he's their flag bearer. So that's completely understandable why you got that.
Yeah. Then the non-heavyweight MVP, so junior of the year, we'll just say.
That's easy.
Number 4, Ray Phoenix. Number 2 was a tie between Dragon Lee and Shingo Takagi. Number 1, Dragon Lee and Shingo Takagi tied with 31 votes each.
Really?
Number 1 with 1,015 votes is Will Ospreay.
What a year he had. 2019 was fantastic.
They should have just gave it to Liger just as a thank you. Yeah, I agree.
And then the next award is
isn't Ospreay just going? Isn't he gaining weight to go up to a heavyweight?
He's a heavyweight now.
Yeah.
He's a heavyweight now. Your women's wrestling MVP, number 3, Shayna Baszler. Number 2, Tessa Blanchard. Number 1, Becky Lynch.
That's fair.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep.
Women. Oh, that's MMA. Best box office draw. And this is a weird one because they mix MMA and wrestling. So number 3 is John Jones. Number 2 is Brock Lesnar. Number 1 is Chris Jericho.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah, Connor didn't do anything.
What a
last
stupid.
Well, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
He fought beginning this year. Yeah.
Feud of the year, number 3 was Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros. Number 2 was Chris Jericho versus Cody. Number 1 was Adam Cole versus Johnny Gargano, which is what we had too.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, makes sense. Yep.
Most improved. This is gonna be. I'm just gonna go through the whole list here because it's pretty interesting. Number 10, Will Ospreay, even though he was already really good. Number 8 was a tie between Darby Allin and Cody. Number 7, MJF. Number 6, Jay White. Number 5, Taichi. Number 4, Rhea Ripley. Number 3, Jungle Boy. Number 2, John Moxley. Number 1, Lance Archer.
I don't know who else I would really add offhand.
Yeah.
Honorable mentions were Keith Lee.
Keith Lee had a great year.
Arisa Hoshiki, Tessa Blanchard, Toa Hanare, Yuya Uemura, and Dustin Rhodes.
I'm still not into Toa.
Dustin Rhodes is 50 and he got votes.
He's what a hell of a fucking worker, man.
I was very big on Taichi after the G1 because he basically just took Kawada's moveset. And then I think Heather was telling me.
I don't know.
I think Heather was telling me. I said I think he was trained by Kawada. And then I was watching the last Noah Tokyo Dome show, and the main event was Misawa and Kawada, and Taichi was Kawada's second. I was like, how about that?
In your time ever wrestling and kind of doing everything you did with the Ring of Honor stuff, have you ever got a chance to work Japan at all?
I actually had a tryout to go to LA to go to New Japan, and they wanted me to live in LA at the dojo for a year. Mm-hmm. And then they said they were probably going to send me over to Tokyo and live in the dojo for a year. But my daughter was maybe about a year and a half old, and I was like, I was like, man, I would absolutely. Yeah, the opportunity was there, and I just
wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, I wasn't able to do it. And that was right around the time that Devitt came over from Europe.
Wow.
Because they told me, they said, yeah, we just sent over a kid from Ireland that was here for a year, and now he's going to be living in Japan for about a year. So it's like, how about that?
Wow.
Yeah, I know Alex Payne, he got the opportunity. I think he trained at the Noah dojo because we had a working relationship with Noah. I want to say it was 05, 06. I think he spent like 4 or 5 months over there.
Speaking of Devitt, though, you guys know where they turned him face again? Like what their grand scheme is?
You can't turn it. He'll never be a heel. He's too good.
They're gonna have him main event a fucking the UK Ireland pay per view that's gonna come up. That's gonna be the shit.
Are we talking NXT? Like,
no, we're still going to the rewards. I just wanted to ask him if he ever had a chance to work Japan.
Really quick, most charismatic. Number 3, Naito. Number 2, Cody. Number 1, Chris Jericho.
Agreed.
Now the Bryan Danielson award, which is best technical wrestler.
Bryan Danielson.
That's great.
I like it.
Has he ever won his own award?
Yes.
Kyle O'Reilly in this?
Kyle O'Reilly was not in.
Wow.
No.
Fuck that.
He's the best wrestler out of the fucking Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Number 3, Will Ospreay. Number 2, Daniel Bryan. He finished second in his own award. And number 1 was Zack Sabre Jr.
Daniel Bryan can't win the Daniel Bryan award.
What wasn't it called something else? And then he, like, if you guys go through the list over the last like 15 years of the Observer, it was called something else. I think he won 6 out of 7 years.
He won it in 05, 06, 07, 08, 09, 2010.
Was it the D. Malenko Award before?
He was winning the award when he was not eligible to wrestle.
He won it every year from 2005 to 2013. And that's when he got hurt.
Retired. Yeah, then they renamed it. Yeah,
well, it makes sense because they thought he wasn't coming back.
And Zack Sabre Jr. has won it every year since, so it's going to be like the Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr.
Going back to Kyle O'Reilly is one of the best, but what's his name? Roderick Strong is really good too.
He's good.
But as far as technical
I love
stuff,
all four of them.
Kyle's.
I think Kyle O'Reilly is so good at everything.
Kyle O'Reilly, so like going back to being an MMA fan and then transitioning back to wrestling, Kyle O'Reilly and Shayna Baszler scratch that itch for me where they make their strikes look so believable.
Yeah,
like, they look like
I'm a big fan of the guys that know how to blend the MMA style into the wrestling style. And I think the two best maybe ever are Shibata and Suzuki. I think those if you like O'Reilly and Baszler, I think Shibata and Suzuki do a little bit better.
Yeah,
I think Strong and O'Reilly are both better wrestlers than Adam Cole, but Adam Cole shits all over them so hard charisma wise.
Yeah.
Like he has to be the
Roddy
face,
used to have no charisma. Now he actually has some.
By the way,
Fish is getting better too. His promo on the mic wasn't terrible.
Yeah, not bad for almost 50.
I know, he's so fucking old.
by the way, now the Bloodsport match with Josh Barnett and Minoru Suzuki is free on YouTube.
Great!
It's up
I
for
want Josh Barnett Frank Mir Bloodsport match.
You would think.
Josh Barnett and Moxley is going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
WrestleMania
I
weekend.
just hope it's not a fucking draw.
They
They'd love
actually
to do that.
a little Josh Barnett story. When I had that tryout in New Japan, Josh Barnett was actually because they had half the dojo was wrestling and half was MMA. Josh Barnett was there training Shinsuke Nakamura for an MMA fight.
Oh,
How about that?
During the tryout. So that
how
was really
big is
cool.
Shinsuke? Is he tall? He looks like he's a big
tall
dude.
dude.
He's pretty big.
Yeah.
He used
Yeah,
to team with Lesnar or fought Lesnar.
I watched
or
him
both.
He
wrestle.
fought Lesnar.
He fought
took the
Lesnar.
belt off.
Lesnar beat him for the title, yeah.
Yeah, and
He looked so different then.
he was husky then. He had muscle.
short hair. Yeah.
Nakamura said that's the only match he ever cried after is the match with Lesnar because he just was like, he just felt like so dirty after it because he's like Lesnar just doesn't care and like he had to.
It was a Tokyo Day main event. It was actually the last New Japan Tokyo Dome main event before they renamed it Wrestle Kingdom. I think it went like 8 minutes, and because Brock was supposed to drop the title to him and he refused to.
Mm-hmm. The another cool Shinsuke thing that I read about when what's his name from the Bullet Club, Carl Anderson. Not Carl Anderson.
No, it was him.
Yeah, Carl Anderson.
Yeah, you're
when
right.
He went over to Japan. He had no money, had nothing, and literally Shinsuke like paid his way for like a year and a half till he got on his feet.
Yeah,
like let him live with him, fed him, gave him
awesome.
like because Shinsuke was the shit then, and he had all the money to do it. He's like, listen, you're a good dude, and I think you're going to be very good at what you're doing, and pretty much like.
Wonder how many nights they ate at Ribera.
Took him under his wing and kind of just like really and Carl loves the Japanese culture and he's
Do you guys
Japanese?
Hot Asian wife.
Do you guys have Ribera jackets?
No.
Oh no, you've never.
No, we never been over.
I'd love
Japan.
to. I've never been to Japan, but I would love to go there.
Book it.
Yeah.
Book it, Dano.
If this podcast ever takes off, that's where you're going.
Yeah, Japan.
That's just the boys taking care of the boys. That's what basically just what it is. Nakamura's a good dude.
Lonely rides right now.
No, I can say that.
Let's wrap these awards here.
Bruiser Brody Memorial Award, Best Brawler. For the 6th year in a row, Tomohiro Ishii wins. Second was Jon Moxley. Third was Shingo Takagi. And then Best Flying Wrestler, Dragon Lee 3, Rey Fenix 2, Will Ospreay is the winner. Most Overrated, number 3, Bray Wyatt. Number 2, Seth Rollins.
Number 1.
Number 1, King Corbin.
Yep. I was going to say Baron Corbin.
I don't know about Bray. I wouldn't put Bray Wyatt on that list, but
I don't agree with 2 or 3. I don't agree with 2 or 3.
He's not fantastic in the ring, but he has great in-ring storytelling ability.
Well, what the Observer Award winds up being most of the time, instead
fan
of
votes,
it's
right?
most. Yeah, it's all. This is all fan vote. Yeah, most overrated winds up becoming most overpushed. Is what they.
I can see that. Yeah.
I think they did a great job with it. It was very old school. It's like he's here, but you don't see him all the time. He's out shoved down your throat as far as wrestling.
That Daniel Bryan match was fantastic.
Because I think it gets watered down. I think wrestling in general.
Daniel Bryan's a magician, and when he's in there with Bray Wyatt, he pulls magic out of him. He's amazing with Bray.
Just like I only ever really cried in pro wrestling twice. Once when I was a kid, and once I was a grown man. And the second time I ever cried in pro wrestling, and I was sitting here watching it when I was watching it with my wife, is the night Daniel Bryan returned. And I knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was happening, but just his speech and his passion and his love for the thing in his eyes, and just like, it's not over until you say it's over.
Right.
Like everyone's like Edge. I was like, nah, Edge didn't do it for me. And I grew up watching Edge. And never watched Daniel Bryan in my life, and then watched his return speech and teared up. I got emotional.
Most underrated, number 3, Toa Hanare. Number 2 is Matt Riddle. Number 1 is Shorty G.
Well, that's
Well, I mean, he's definitely underrated, but
Sami Zayn, I would put in there. Sami Zayn, Cesaro.
Yeah.
He's good, but I don't think he's.
Sami Zayn got honorable mention.
Yeah.
They should rename that award the William Regal Most Underrated Award, because I think Regal's the most underrated wrestler in the history of the business.
Really?
Yeah.
Cesaro wound up winning it like 5 years in a row.
It's funny. I always go back to that Regal Goldberg match where everybody shits on Goldberg, but they don't realize like some of the roles and transitions Goldberg does in that is like he wasn't doing with anybody else. So like
Regal worked him.
Huh?
Regal worked him.
It's so weird how like if you Regal will tell you he was told to do that. He was told to go out and do a 6-minute competitive match. This is what Regal says. Goldberg says to him that Regal and Dave Taylor set him up. That wasn't supposed to go that way. So
I kind of believe that.
I believe Goldberg in this one because Regal was fucked up at the time. He was on pills. He was a fucking alcoholic.
And I said, "Let's go show this guy up."
Yeah, and it was like,
because they knew they could.
Right. It was like, fuck this guy. But like I said, they brought something out of it because he used to train. What did he train?
He trained with Obaki, who was I forget the guy's real name. He was I don't know what it was like.
Goldberg did some nice shit. If you go back and watch that, he did some nice fucking roles and like shit that you were like, whoa, you never saw him do any other time. So.
Then your Rookie of the Year, and that's always a weird category in the Observer because it's going to have people that wrestled for over a year. Like this one, number 3, Cain Velasquez, even though he had like 3 matches. Number 2, Carl Fredericks.
And they were bad matches.
Carl Fredericks is pretty good.
No, I'm talking about Cain Velasquez.
Yeah, Cain Velasquez.
Carl is a young lion in Japan.
I was going to say, I don't even know who he
match
is.
in Triple H wasn't bad.
Yeah, the Triple H 6-man wasn't bad.
No, you're right. That was good. I'm
good.
talking to WWE. Yeah, it was fucking awful.
And your winner for Rookie of the Year is Jungle Boy.
Yeah. Okay. Really? I thought Brian Pillman would have got it.
I think he was last year.
He impressed me at PPW.
And Clark Connors was 4th.
Yeah.
I think that all the young lions are going to be in next year. Clark Connors, Carl Fredericks, and the other guy.
Yeah, they're all stars.
Best non-wrestler, number 3, and Tony discovered her this week, is Selena De La Renta from MLW.
Oh, yeah. Jesus Christmas.
Number 2 is Zelina Vega, and number 1 is Paul Heyman.
Okay.
Who has
good for Vega. I like the
She's good.
roles.
I like those two together.
Garza's a superstar.
He's so dreamy.
I almost said Hector Garza. Angel Garza is amazing.
He is dreamy.
He is dreamy. we keep fucking around in the like talking about like whatever in the group chat, and every time like an attractive woman comes up, I just keep putting a fucking gif of
Garza ripping his pants
Garza
off.
ripping his pants off.
Yeah.
Best television announcer. I'm going to announce number 4 was Mauro Ranallo.
Wow.
We know my thing with Mauro Ranallo. Number 3 was Tony Schiavone.
Okay.
Number 2 was Excalibur. Number 1 by a good margin was Kevin Kelly.
By the way, when I keep joking about Brian should have a like,
I don't mind Nigel.
Oh, I hate Nigel.
I don't mind him.
Oh, I hate
Nigel
him.
was 5th for best announcer.
I hate him and Beth Phoenix on that. I actually don't like. I don't like Mauro. He's annoying, but I hate Nigel always sounds like that. I don't like.
I call him Michael Cole Jr., the guy who's on Raw now.
Tom Phillips.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
he's all right.
They're also
He's
Vic
fine.
Joseph and Tom Phillips are supposed to sound like Michael Cole.
Yeah, they're
he is now. They're all cut from that cloth.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't mind Corey Graves either.
Oh, Corey Graves is fucking fantastic.
Oh, you guys are about to get mad.
Well, I like him, but Mauro, Brian did not mind Mauro this week. By the way,
Yeah, I thought Mauro was fine this week. He wasn't like obnoxious. The only time he yelled during that women's cage match is where he should have yelled when Tegan Knox did the body.
She has her finger. Like he just goes crazy over the smallest spots.
That's dumb shit all the time. Yeah.
All right, let's roll through this.
Worst television announcer. Mauro was 6 on this list, so he placed on both.
Yeah.
The Jim Ross was 5. Renee Young was 4.
I gotta cut you off. I can't stand the people that shit on Jim Ross. I think Jim Ross is fantastic. I really do. I mean, he gets so much flack because he didn't know this or didn't know that. The way that Jim Ross adds to stories, especially in AEW, and I know you guys probably didn't watch when him and Josh Barnett were the announcers.
We did.
On Access for New Japan. The two of them, first of all, Josh Barnett adds a totally different dynamic because he's a shooter and he calls it a shoot style, and Jim Ross adds that to the story. I think Jim Ross is still one of the top 2 or 3 best announcers today. So I get that argument. People shit on him.
I totally get that argument because I remember when people were shitting on like in the the Japanese stuff because dude, he wasn't sitting there getting to know all these people. It was kind of fresh to him. I think when people are pissed off now, like in AEW, it's like
don't forget a name.
It's like come on, guy. Like you shouldn't. You should be a little bit more.
Thing
but
too,
he's Jim Ross.
Talk about a new dimension. Josh Barnett almost killed Jay White.
Yeah, one of the things too is with him is with his face and his product,
the Bell's palsy.
The Bell's palsy. It takes like that's recorded later in the day, and I'm sure he doesn't just show up to the arena and do his job. I'm sure he's trying to put a lot into production, but it takes a lot out of you. He's getting older, and it's not
71
like,
or something.
Yeah,
I know because Brian will be like, Jim Ross fucking sucks. He stinks now. Like, and I feel that way too. A lot of times,
totally disagree.
When I hear him, I'm like, I actually heard him recently. Like when I watched AEW, because I actually fell off for a while, and I heard him and like him, Tony, and who was Excalibur.
Maybe I have to pay more attention. Maybe I'm just
I thought it was good.
On him.
What's his name on SmackDown? Literally said the wrong guy's name in the ring, and the guy that was the guy's name he said that was in the ring was sitting next to him at commentary. And Corey and Corey Graves was like, "Are you an idiot? He's sitting right here." Yeah,
and then I love Corey Graves.
It was actually who's a PowerPoint presentation?
Drew Gulak.
It was Gulak. He said Gulak was wrestling somebody, and Gulak was out on the table right next to him.
Great technical wrestlers.
Yeah,
I heard Gulak and Daniel Bryan were doing
they might be doing a little program,
some shit, and I haven't seen it, and I want to see that.
Yeah,
Gulak's another guy that you don't really. A lot of people who just see him as a PowerPoint guy don't really know what he's capable of.
He was fun when he was 205 champion.
Yeah, he was great against Kushida
Buddy Murphy.
Buddy Murphy, yeah. But the top three for worst, and this is going to get everybody on the table mad, except for maybe Andy. Beth Phoenix was third. Michael Cole was second. Worst announcer, Corey Graves.
I think that's the hate for everything he does outside of announcing.
I think it's the fighting with Morrow,
Yeah, and what he did, because you would see people going, "Oh, look what he did! He with his wife and Karma." It's like they were split, and it's none of your business.
Yeah,
like,
I don't care what he does.
I think it's more away from the thing.
Nobody cares that The Fiend left his wife for JoJo.
Yeah.
But I mean, you seen JoJo?
Yeah,
he's got the whole world.
Best major wrestler. You're trying to hurry up and they're starting to sing over there.
Yeah.
You're going to get taken off of YouTube.
She's okay.
Gotta keep going.
NXT TakeOver New York was third. Second was Wrestle Kingdom 13. Number one was AEW Double or Nothing.
Okay.
I thought
this is fucking long.
Worst major wrestling show. Number 3, WWE Crown Jewel. Number 2, WWE Hell in a Cell. Number 1, WWE Super Showdown.
They're all terrible.
Yeah, they're all bad.
There was a one good matchup with the Hell in a Cell had Becky versus
Sasha. That was really good. Yeah. Best wrestling maneuver. Number 3, the Rainmaker. Number 2, the One-Winged Angel. Number 1, the Stormbreaker. Will Ospreay.
Yep.
Can't argue there.
Most disgusting promotional tactic. Number 3, ROH using Enzo and Cass at MSG without telling New Japan.
Yeah.
Or the locker room.
Well, I'll skip number 2 because that's a UFC thing. Number 4 is WWE Mike Marie Kanellis pregnancy angle, and number 1 was WWE continuing to do business in Saudi Arabia.
What was the MMA one?
What was the MMA one?
UFC USADA handling of John Jones.
Oh yeah, that's pretty bad.
Oh yeah.
I never liked when WWE did that thing with Charlotte, like using Reed.
Yeah,
with Paige.
I want Charlotte to literally come out and be like her dad and be like, I could bang any dude in this crowd, and I just want her to be like this, like completely like I'll take Ric Flair. I'll walk out, I'll take your husband, and I'll make him cry.
All you men can meet me up in room 420 at the.
That's kind of what they did on that Impact show.
Yeah, the Rough Riders.
Throwback with like Tessa and all those people. Yeah,
Charlotte would be so good at that.
I would love to see Tessa. I would love to see Tessa come in with Charlotte to form like a better horsewoman than fucking Sasha. Ugh. Okay.
Worst television show: number 3, Ring of Honor; number 2, SmackDown; number 1, Raw. I think that flips next year. Raw is getting pretty good.
Yeah,
and Ring of Honor is really good.
Yeah, Ring of Honor is really good. It's best turnaround. I think
it's funny because just this year, recently, just a couple months ago, people were like shitting on ROH. I was like going away, and it's just, and now all of a sudden
Marty's turning around.
We had it as our biggest disappointment of the year because from where it came and to what it did last year, it was a big disappointment.
2019 was a bad year for ROH.
But they lost so many people in one shot.
Yeah, and then they just did.
They need to go back to the old logo. And get rid of that stupid.
Well, this one show they're doing. They're doing like old versus new.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're bringing back the pair title.
A promotion too that I think is going to definitely start.
Yuji Nagata's in that tournament.
Yeah, he is. That should be pretty good.
I would keep an eye on House of Glory. I think they're going to. I don't
think
that
Master P's thing.
Yeah,
he bought it.
The talent there is really good.
Tyler said they're going to rename it or something though.
Yeah,
they should because
that's a terrible name.
Hog.
The talent there is good. Supposedly, I don't know how true it is.
I've heard of House of Glory for years now.
Yeah, I heard
it's the thing for Red Skull basically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The rumor is that AEW is going to start looking at House of Glory as the feeder program.
Okay, like OVW was, or Florida Championship.
Loosely affiliated.
That's what they got Private Party from.
Yeah, Private Party.
LAX was there for a while.
Yep.
They had a lot. They had a lot of big tag teams.
Yeah, when that dude died,
Matt Travis.
Matt Travis. Yeah,
there was a lot of mention.
Worst match of the year: number 3, Braun versus Tyson Fury. Number 2, Undertaker versus Goldberg. Number 1, The Fiend versus Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
Oh,
was that? Do you think that was worse than the Goldberg?
I don't know. That's
tough.
tough.
Because he was knocked out like 30 seconds in.
Yeah.
Bray Wyatt might as well have been too.
And then that red light.
I'm glad they stopped that.
Worst feud of the year: number 3, Roman Reigns versus King Corbin. Number 2, Rusev versus Bobby Lashley. Number 1, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend.
You could
Miz
switch
and Shane was pretty bad.
You could take either 3 of those and switch them. That was last year.
Was it?
Previous year.
Well, it was the very beginning of 2019.
Yeah.
Worst promotion: number 3, Impact. Number 2, Ring of Honor. Number 1, WWE.
Okay, for the year. For the year.
Over Ring, I think Ring of Honor would be number 1.
I don't know.
Because if you say WWE, you have to include NXT. And there's got to be some give and take there.
I don't know how they do that.
Well, then, if you're going with that, then you have to include the Ring of Honor New Japan show for the first quarter of the new year as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to go that way as well.
That's true.
And that G1 Supercar at the Garden was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Best Booker: number 3, Tony Khan. Number 2, Paul Levesque. Number 1, Ghetto, by far.
Oh, well, yeah.
That's every year.
Promoter of the year: number 3, Paul Levesque. So here they do separate WWE and NXT. Number 2, the New Japan team: Harold Meij, Takaki Kidani, and number 1, Tony Khan.
As New Japan fans, what do you think is going to happen with if NXT forms a Japan division?
The rumor now is that if NXT, because WWE's been looking really hard for a partner in Japan, and they think it may be All Japan now.
Yeah.
Because Jun Akiyama is basically the president of All Japan. He's coming to do like a coaching seminar at the Performance Center, and they think it might be the beginning of a working relationship.
What was the one that closed Wrestle 1?
Wrestle 1 was Muda's thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's what Jay Freddy used to work for.
Yeah, and they said no, they're not doing any more shows. They said
didn't Muda used to work All Japan?
He did all of them.
Yeah, he was New Japan forever, and then he ran All Japan for a little bit after Baba died.
Yeah.
And then
who loved Mrs.
Johnny Ace? Yeah, Mrs. Baba loved Johnny Ace.
Yeah, Mrs. Baba.
Mrs. Baba.
The rumor for a while was that WWE might wind up working with, of all companies, over there, Big Japan, which is like a deathmatch company.
I don't know. I don't see that the NXT Japan really working out.
Best gimmick: number 3, Orange Cassidy. Number 2, Chris Jericho. Number 1, The Fiend. Worst gimmick: number 3, The Fiend. Number 2, King Corbin. Number 1, Shorty G.
Yeah.
And the best book is whatever. Best pro wrestling documentary. Number 3, The Wrestlers, Voodoo Wrestling in the Congo, which I've never heard of, but I'm interested. Number 2, Omega Man, which is the Canadian thing about Kenny Omega. And number 1 is Dark Side of the Ring, the Viceland show we were talking about.
Oh, not George South's fucking documentary? I just watched that today.
I didn't know he had one. Was that this year?
How many more are on this list?
Just a few.
17.
That was actually the last one.
Okay,
it wasn't even a real documentary. It was just him talking for like a half hour about something.
Well, Matt,
7 years ago.
we'll let you go here. We're gonna do a quick dive in some other stuff that happened over the week. I appreciate you calling in. Anytime you want to do it, let us know.
Absolutely, guys. I'm going to give you guys a little homework assignment. Head over to YouTube, type in Masao and Kabashi versus Kawa and Teu.
Okay.
And you can see what Meltzer was talking about, that was the best tag match in the, going back to the pay-per-view.
Send me that in our little messenger.
I'm going to be there's 3 or 4 of them in there, so
okay.
I'll send them.
I'm going to start wrestling, but I'm going to be a Japanese wrestler from the Cole region called Kenta Kobashi.
Okay.
That's going to be my name.
Kobashi, yeah.
I actually just found a wrestler named Crusher Blackwell from our pro wrestling.
Jerry Blackwell.
Blackwell.
Yeah, Jerry. Yeah.
The reason they called him Crusher was because
he's huge.
He feuded with the Crusher, like the main Crusher.
The Crusher.
And then crushed him.
And all his dollies.
And he was like Blackwell, Fatwell, Jerkwell.
Jerkwell.
Then he would throw drop
kicks. I'm going to get going here. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime, man.
Catch you guys later.
Bye. All right, we are at an hour 47. SmackDown.
You put this guy on a show, it's going to run long.
Well, first of all, that list was
that was horrible.
stupid.
That was fun. Yeah. No, I thought that was fun.
It's fun, a little long.
It was a little long, yeah.
It was like a fucking Raw.
SmackDown, meh. Raw, it was fun.
Raw was all right.
Yeah.
There was some really fun stuff on Raw. Like, I didn't like it in the moment that I rewatched it. I'm like, I was so wrong in a snap thing about the Orton thing. I thought the Orton thing at the end was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was... when
the opening of the show was great.
But the stuff that was bad was really bad.
Yeah.
Ricochet losing to Riddick Moss.
Yeah, they said that
He's got to be in a doghouse.
They said that Vince gave up on him. He doesn't want to use him anymore.
And the
send him back to NXT.
Yeah, send him back to NXT then.
Right.
And then the Eric Rowan puppet.
Well,
the spider
puppet.
Booker,
But how can you make that? I would have just dropped that angle completely.
Well, first of all, it was too. Did you see how he pulled it out? It was like the reveal. Like, for 6 months you build this up or whatever it is, and then the reveal is, all right, I'm just going to take it out right now.
Yeah.
It was bad.
People, if you looked at it.
Yeah,
it was bad.
There was no win in that situation.
But,
Monster Mac and the entourage.
Booker T was saying that Ricochet needs to really work on character development.
Ricochet can't cut a promo.
No,
at all.
He needs to turn heel, and he needs a fucking
manager.
He needs a manager like MVP.
Yeah.
MVP should. I know he's
Or
producing now.
Selena Vega, if she had the
Zelina Vega would be great. If she had like a little stable going.
If you're Vince and okay, you don't like him, then either send him to NXT or release him.
Yeah.
Why keep him?
Send him back to NXT and work on his promo skills.
I think he's a guy that he will never be able to cut
I think
a
he's
promo.
got I think there's a low ceiling there.
Yeah. There's some guys that just they can't.
The start of Raw, though, the Drew McIntyre Brock thing, man. I'll tell you what, when Brock has to sell, man, does he sell.
Brock Lesnar is really good at wrestling. People don't like him because he's not there a lot and he doesn't really have that heart and soul.
When he wants to,
he's really good.
It's a shame that he doesn't want to all the time, though.
Yeah.
Like we were saying with Sid. If Sid wanted to, Sid could have been one of the best guys ever. Not maybe in ring, but I mean overall.
But he looked amazing.
Hogan, yeah.
His match with Sean was fun. When
Sean could do anything with anybody.
Yeah.
It's Shawn Michaels.
Sid had some good matches.
People with cameras and shit.
When you're going to play softball and just not showing up.
Well, talk about that.
WrestleCon, they were going to do knowing the sister is Sid always leaving wrestling to play softball. They did this thing where WrestleMania weekend they were going to do a softball game. It was going to be called like the Sid Vicious Invitational.
Yeah, there's no way.
And they canceled it because they've been trying to get Sid to do a video promo for it for months, and he just never did. So like, okay, it's canceled.
But his one chance to do softball and wrestling, and he...
Yeah, what is he busy doing?
There's so much craziness going on with the Mania weekend stuff. People are worried now that Mania might get canceled because of coronavirus, because there's cases of it in Tampa. There's
it's so crazy. I just seen a thing, and it said that how many people were killed by coronavirus. It was like the thousands. How many people killed by the regular flu that no one's afraid of? 1 billion.
But you can get a flu shot.
You can get a vaccine.
There's no vaccine.
You
can't
get a vaccine for corona.
It's only killing people that are like old people and like babies.
We don't
like
old people and kids. Who cares?
Like it's nothing to be afraid of. Like how do people die of car every day?
I'm going to isolate that, so you're never going to get big.
Send that to anybody who's trying to get on the show.
Send a picture of MJF flipping them off.
He hates old people and kids.
Tony Blackwell said.
Tyler just sent a video of him giving another kid the finger at a.
We're going to do an attack ad.
Yeah.
Tony Blackwell likes giving kids the finger.
I hate kids. I just fucking hate kids. To be honest with you, I can't stand them.
Yeah.
Why?
We're having a kid by.
I don't like anything about kids. I don't. Not to go aside for me. I don't see any benefit at all for me to have a child.
For you to have a child? No.
Yes.
But what do you mean? Like you were a kid?
Yeah, but like I also used to shit my pants. So are we going to hold that against me? I was a child. I also couldn't read.
Yeah, I know.
At
you
one
still
point.
Can't.
So like. You can't just say, "Oh, well, because you were a kid, you should like kids."
Yeah, no,
that makes no sense.
I didn't say you should like them. I'm just asking. I'm just saying, like you work, and why do you not like them so much, though?
I would want to take care of them.
Yeah, why put up with all that? Like I don't see any benefit.
No, I totally get not because my friend Nate is the same way. Like, he's 36. He doesn't want kids. But he's the same way. He's like, I fucking hate kids. I'm like, I think there's a difference.
I don't hate kids.
I think there's a difference between.
I'm not saying kill the kids.
No. But I'm saying, I think there's a difference
just,
between not wanting to have kids.
There should be nothing wrong with giving a kid a finger.
But not liking them. But you say you don't like kids.
Yeah, I don't like to be around kids or anything.
So I don't mind that.
That's what I'm trying to understand is why. What is? Are they just annoying to you?
Yes, annoying, and I just don't like, especially when they're at that age when they say hi to everybody. I hate that. I don't want to teach people stuff.
That's coming from the guy who works in a business where they shake everybody's friggin' hand.
I want zero responsibility.
Dude,
I understand.
This is great for when he's got to go fucking heel.
Yeah.
because you're just going to isolate. Like, this is going to be on a big fucking. Yeah.
By the way,
I fucking hate kids.
That crazy kid at Outbreak that was like going nuts and everything. That Trajan was the he said Andy looked like AJ Styles.
Yeah, he screamed.
Wow.
I'm like, no, he doesn't.
He goes, sit down, AJ Styles.
Oh, she said I wrestled.
And I was like, never heard that one before.
Yeah.
You know how they always do that thing where it's like there's a guy that's go down, shaking hands and kissing babies, but then it's like, but backstage, this is what he's really like.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great for you can just isolate this for your whenever you're going to turn heel. But
Wednesday Night Wars, we'll kind of go through a little bit because they said we are going long. I mean, what would you say was a better show this week?
I preferred NXT. I thought NXT was much better this week.
I only seen a little bit of NXT, so I can't.
AEW wasn't bad. There was like nothing. Well, the Leva Bates Big Swole match was bad.
They should I like her, like I said, but she cannot wrestle.
I thought NXT was fucking. I thought the women's cage match was fucking great.
I loved it.
We had a disagreement.
I thought it was good, but a little bit at the end, it's like.
I didn't like the.
She kicks the cage. There was a point where she could have just jumped down and ran away. So why wouldn't she?
I would have had Tegan win right there.
Jump down and run away.
So here's my problem with the cage match.
But it was. I understood it, and it was still pretty good.
I always ask that question as a wrestling fan. It's like, why? My answer to myself is, well, it's because it wasn't written that way. Because she's not told to do that. I guess
that's why I like when there's pinfall submission in the cage and you can't just walk out and climb over the top.
Yeah,
I like the spot where she's holding her. She did it twice. Where
that was cool.
She pins her against the thing. I thought that was really cool. And there was another one where she had the ref trapped. She's trapping the ref. What's her name? The tall girl, the big
Raquel Gonzalez.
Yeah, she's got she's holding the door closed and has the ref trapped. And the ref is like trying to get out. Yeah. I thought those two spots were really
those two
cool.
spots were cool. I do agree with that.
I love that thing Dakota Kai did with the. She's basically doing like a Canadian story, but makes it like a lung blower. I thought that was really cool.
I missed that.
That spot was amazing. Yeah.
The only problem I had with it, I felt like for being as much as you've been pushing that this is a huge rivalry and how much they hate each other, and this is like their blow-off grudge match, it didn't feel like they hated each other to me. And the entire time, the cage is there so she can trap her in that cage and kick the shit out of her.
Tegan should have been a little more aggressive.
And she's trying to escape every 30 seconds.
Yeah, right. That's why I don't like the escape the cage.
And she was trying to escape the whole time, and every time she was trying to escape, the girl on the outside was interfering. But you could have just pinned her in the cage.
Yeah. Or you could have jumped off the cage onto the girl.
Yeah.
Like we called out that one time we brought attention to. It's like it's supposed to be like a grudge match. Why, like the Miz? Why are you stopping and doing your thing?
Yeah.
What's her name? Rhea Ripley.
Yeah.
Why are you stopping and doing your fucking because they're probably instructed to do that.
Yeah.
But you just stopped.
Like
and
Charlotte's gonna kill her with a chair, and you're like, gotta do my stomp.
Yeah.
This is my brutality. Gotta do it.
Yeah. And then the other cage match.
I didn't get to see it.
The other cage match is you're putting them in the cage because he's trying to legit mess with his wife and kid, and then the ending spot was Rodney's.
Marina, she was out and she was ringside.
She slid Roddy a weapon during the match.
But the whole thing was this whole payoff in the cage was for those two to blow it off because he went after him and then he went after his wife.
Yeah.
But then at the ending spot it was all kind of a ploy because then he got his hands on Adam Cole and he took Adam Cole's belt like teasing like now I'm after Adam Cole.
Yeah, basically the ending of the match was the Undisputed Era tried to run in and Adam Cole winds up getting in the cage. Roddy tries to go out through the door. Velveteen Dream pushes him out and lets him win. He throws him out of the ring through the door. So Roddy wins. But now Dream is in the ring with Adam Cole.
And he handcuffs the door closed.
Yeah.
Because now he's stuck in the cage.
Because the whole thing was a ploy because he wants to get in the ring with Adam Cole.
Why did
he just go after Adam Cole's girl?
Yeah.
Well, she's in
AEW. But I mean, like, he could have went after Adam Cole this whole time. Not maybe with the whole wife gimmick, but
a storyline that wasn't thought out all the way.
Yeah. Right. And for how good Dream is at building story, I just thought this whole thing fell flat.
Yeah, I don't think he booked it though.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, and that's what I was saying to you in the car. It's
not his fault.
He's probably just doing what he's told.
Yeah.
The thing is there's someone out there, and I would like to find this person. There's somebody that thinks that was booked beautifully,
bro.
Yeah,
bro.
You think Russo? You love Russo?
Who knows?
What else?
Russo still thinks
he has a new action figure out
together.
I
see.
I'm trying to breeze through some other things.
That tag match with Red Dragon versus That
was good.
That was
Oni and
it was a quick one, but it was good. Yeah.
Chelsea Green beat Shotzi Blackheart. It was whatever.
It was fine.
The Keith Lee, what's his name interview was not good.
Keith Lee.
No,
the Johnny Gargano interview.
I thought that
horrible.
I thought that was really good.
I
liked
it.
I did not
loved
like it. The whole time where he just kept grabbing him, and I'm just like, it was
Johnny Gargano himself sucked. I thought Morrow was
excellent.
Morrow did good. Johnny Gargano
Johnny
was he did not come off as a bad guy. He was weird.
No, it was very creepy.
They have something where it's probably like he likes Ciampa's wife.
He's not very good as a heel. I mean, but it's a
Morrow
fresh,
sold it. Gargano
Morrow
did
was
not.
excellent.
Yeah, because it was very stale with him being a babyface. So they needed to do something different.
Austin Theory beat Isaiah Scott. Austin Theory, he's got a great look. He's a little rough around the edges, I think, for national TV. Yeah, he's good, but he's not. I think
they're trying to make him the next Ricochet, and I don't think that they just let him be himself. But I think they're trying to like push him to be like a Ricochet type thing.
Yeah,
and that was basically
because Ricochet was the new Neville.
Yeah.
It was. They have that one particular guy that they need to.
And you have that
be
guy,
the new man that
and you have that guy, and you just had him lose that match because Isaiah Scott can be your next Ricochet.
Yeah. That's strange.
And then over on AEW, you had the big interview with Moxley at the very beginning where Jericho comes out. He says if Moxley can leave tonight under his own power, he'll leave for 60 days.
Yeah.
60 days. I thought that was all right.
Not a bad promo.
Your first match was a 6-man tag. Cole Cabana and SCU beat the Dark Order.
It was fun. Match.
All right, so here, this is what bothered me with AEW. We have all these teases, and I thought that would have been the night to knock it out of the park.
And if it was a thing where Matt Hardy couldn't do it because of this convention, then I understand. But yeah, you've teased it enough. It's time for the Exalted one.
Yeah.
If you keep pushing this off, it's just I don't know, man.
It'll be like who's the Raw Anonymous GM? Where like I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
right. Big Swole beat Leva Bates, so that just very
horrible
clunky.
match.
Yeah.
Leva's just
Cody did his promo. He says. The only way he can deal with losing MJF is MJF comes out and says he beat him fair and square.
Didn't do nothing for me, that Cody's promo.
And then Jake Roberts comes out.
This was fantastic.
And then he's like, he's tired of listening to Cody cry. Jake's never cried. He's got a man coming in.
Well, did he do some stuff like
he has a client?
Be a man.
Yeah.
I never liked you or your dad or something like that.
I don't know if he said anything about his dad. I
forget.
Remember.
He was popping shots at him, just like.
But yeah, he was
called him the Exalted, not the Exalted one, but
Caesar.
He was called him Caesar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the great thing is he put a button on it where he's like talking about how he was always told that, and as he's saying it, he's kind of circling around. He's like, you shouldn't turn your back on anyone you fear or respect. And he turns his back and just throws the mic over his head at Cody.
Jake can still cut.
I think he's either going to manage. I think he's going to manage Brody Lee.
Only problem.
That's what I think.
Only problem is if Jake's going to cut promos. It sounds really weird to say this now. He's too loud in the mic. He needs to get a little quiet.
Too loud. I thought he was kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, but he was like, it sounded like he was out of breath. Like he was like,
well, that's his voice.
Yeah,
if you go back to when he was doing a thing with Randy Orton, like fucking
now,
that's a lot of years of crack.
His voice
was just like
he
that.
hasn't done it in a long time. So maybe his cadence isn't where it used to be, and maybe just slow it down a little bit more.
No, but like I'm saying, if you go back and watch the thing with him and Randy Orton, and this is like 2000, what year would that have been?
Like 2007?
Yeah. 2007, yeah, it would have been around that time. He sounded exactly the same then.
Yeah.
It's shrugs.
Yeah. I would slow him down.
The one thing, and Dave Meltzer brought this up, I didn't even think of it. If it is going to be somebody like Lance Archer or Brody Lee, being with Jake, like obviously he's going to be able to cut promos for him. He's going to make them look a little smaller, like because he's bigger.
Jake's
he's a tall guy.
Jake's 6'5", 6'6". Brody Lee's like 6'8".
Yeah.
Jake is one.
And
of
Lance
those
Archer's
guys,
like
almost
6'7".
Yeah,
who was like
6'6".
he was secretly one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I think he's secretly why the reason I'm afraid of snakes. Dead serious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pac beat Chuck Taylor.
It was not a bad match.
Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't maybe a little long.
Are we gonna get Pac? Well, we already kind of know where this is gonna lead. But the whole time watching the match, like, what are we gonna get Pac then versus?
And then the Lucha Bros came out.
The other guy, like he's gonna run through the whole team.
Yeah, that's gonna be 3-on-3.
Yeah, Pac and the Lucha Bros are a team now. The
team I didn't think
Triangle, which is kind of
Triangle,
I'm like,
the team that I didn't think I wanted.
Pac and the Lucha Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah, a team I didn't think I wanted. Now I kind of do. I'm a fan of it.
Like you're probably going to wind up
QT Marshall and the Goldust.
Wait, who do you want together? Or who do you
I didn't think I wanted the Lucha Bros and Pac to be a 3-way team. But I kind of like it.
Yeah. But yeah, and then you'll probably want to getting them against Best Friends in Orange Cassidy.
Yeah.
And next week they've already announced the match. It's going to be them against Joey Janela and Private Party.
That's a weird.
Yeah.
It should work just
that's
because
going to be fun.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You can do it. You'll have like
I kind of want.
stuff.
Imagine like when Hangman finally turns on Kenny, and you can get like Kenny and the Bucks, like the Elite versus the Death Triangle.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Jake Hager beat QT Marshall, and then you had the Cody and Dustin making the save at the end.
QT Marshall, is that one of the Cody guys?
Yeah, that's like one of Cody's buddy or something. Because I'd never heard of him ever before
it's
this.
like, why is this guy here?
Yeah.
MJF did the pre-tape promo where he's basically saying he's going for the world title. Nobody can stop him.
That was a pretty good promo.
And he did the Wahoo McDaniel thing where he has the Greg Valentine thing where he has I pinned Cody on a black T-shirt with
and
white
then he
lettering.
made a good joke about the tattoo too. I forget what it said.
Yeah, he's like, he's just making fun of the neck tattoo.
Basically,
I might like him now.
Basically, no one likes it. He's like, yeah, that's something that no one would like a crappy neck tattoo.
Well, I agree with him.
And then
did he make fun of his list one time too?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh, too soon, or what he said.
It's funny because he had one as a kid.
Really?
He was on like Rosie O'Donnell.
Rosie O'Donnell.
Yeah.
the main event was Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara against Jon Moxley and Darby Allin. Moxley doesn't even get in the match. As he's walking out through the crowd, three guys in masks jump him. It's Hager and LAX. So it winds up being a handicap match, essentially.
I thought this, somebody had Roy Lee's coming, Lance Archer's coming, someone's coming. No one came.
Well, Moxley
No
came.
one came,
Moxley
yeah.
came afterward, but then they just put him through a table with the Shield powerbomb.
Yeah.
So Jericho
and
doesn't
then they
have
did the
to
middle
leave.
fingers instead of the fists, which was like, oh, I get it.
That's funny.
They love their middle fingers in AEW.
Yeah, they love it. Yeah. It's the most offensive thing on TV. As long as you just do it to the crowd, not just to one individual.
Well, not on a 7-year-old. No, see again.
But here we go. Here we go.
Or 17, even.
1998. That kid meets Steve Austin, and Steve Austin's flipping him off.
But I don't think he does it to a little 7-year-old kid. I don't think he does that because I don't think.
But that was his thing.
But I don't think he did. No, not. To
I don't think he would have done it to a kid.
Not to a kid.
What if he did? They'd be like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
No.
The kid might be like, "This is awesome."
Oh,
Steve
the
Austin
kid at that
is- yeah.
time, because kids my age were asked. But I was 10 years older than that.
That 7-year-old
Maybe.
kid goes in his room when his dad's not listening and turns Fortnite on.
You don't
and
know that,
and
though.
calls everyone a fucking asshole.
You think-
Yeah, and racial slurs.
He may, because I have kids that are, playing. But my
kids make racial slurs?
9-year-old never. My 9-year-old would never. First of all, his stepdad is black.
Yeah.
You've met him.
I don't know if it's still like the Xbox 360 online was horrible.
But
PlayStation's bad.
But my
Well,
12-year-old.
everything online. But I mean, I played 360 at the time, so that's what any shooter. Well, he was all just.
The problem is on PlayStation,
slurs.
you just can't understand what people talk because the online connection servers are horrible for voice chat. Oh, it's bad.
I've never used the PlayStation.
Yeah, you're
chat.
more of a solo player guy. Yeah.
So I can't.
we
I used to play
do
360
PlayStation
online.
chat all the time.
Yeah.
If you're in a party chat, it's fine.
I love
But if you're
the
in
PlayStation
game chat, it sounds like you're talking through a tin can.
Really?
Yeah, it depends. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, party chat is what we would normally use.
You have to.
And now that when we would play, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They have a thing where you can link up with the people you're playing with. What's it called? Remember when we play Rocket League? There's that new feature that allows you to join the party with them.
I gotta play Rocket League with you guys one night. It's free to download, right? It's a free game.
No.
If
you have PS Now, it's free, but we haven't played Rocket League in. I think the last time we played was Super Bowl Sunday.
It was,
Oh, wow.
yeah, it was a while.
All right, this is a long one. Actually, not too bad. Elimination Chamber, we're going to cover it, but I just went on the.
How many matches are announced?
No, they don't have anything announced.
They're the two chambers, don't they?
Because we're going to find out most of it.
Well, there's the girls' chamber matches.
But before you get in, I just want to bring up something real quick. So I don't know if you guys noticed there was a vignette on NXT for Killer Cross.
There was 2 or 3, wasn't there?
Well, I only saw the one, and now I don't know for a fact it's for Killer Cross, but I'm going to say it's for Killer Cross.
That's fine.
There was a lot of death stuff, and there was a lot of references to
Post-apocalyptic
time.
stuff. Yeah.
Because his thing is he always writes TikTok in his on social media and stuff. He always writes TikTok, and there was a glass. What's it called?
Hourglass.
There was an actual clock. There was the ticking sound, and then it said TikTok. And a thing.
What's her name? Took a picture on social media where she kind of has gear on now. It's kind of like black gear, but with long fingernails. Yeah, like cat gloves. So
what's her name?
Scarlett Bordeaux.
Scarlett Bordeaux. Oh,
and I have the card for Elimination Chamber when you're ready.
I was going to say, because we still don't know what's going to happen because of SmackDown tomorrow.
We kind of do. So, and this is like Jack was saying earlier, how Drew McIntyre was at the Flyers game tonight because Elimination Chamber will be coming from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I prefer the Wachovia.
The FU Center. That was the best one for
the
Philly.
FU Center.
First Union
Center. FU Center.
First Union Center. You have an Elimination Chamber match for a shot at the Raw Women's Championship. Natalia versus Liv Morgan versus Shayna Baszler versus Asuka versus Ruby Riott versus Sarah Logan.
Okay, they did have the signing for that last week, right? Yeah. So Shayna wins that.
I've never seen a Flyers game there, but I've been there for wrestling, obviously, and I've been there for Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, wow.
I think I've only ever been there for wrestling.
I sat courtside for Harlem Globetrotters.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah.
Braun Strowman against Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn in a 3-on-1 handicap match.
Oh, boy. I know, dude. I know. It's
What a waste.
Look, here's the thing, but it's WWE. We should never, at this point,
don't be shocked.
Don't be shocked
Yeah.
at dumb stuff and
Yeah.
that they're not using awesome wrestlers. Because Vince doesn't care about awesome wrestlers.
No, he doesn't.
Good wrestlers, you know?
So Braun will win that one.
Your other Elimination Chamber match is a tag team Elimination Chamber match.
I'm kind of interested in this.
Miz and Morrison defending against The New Day, The Usos, Heavy Machinery, Lucha House Party, and Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
Lucha House Party, a.k.a. we're not putting the Revival in this.
Exactly.
Lucha House Party, we have. So here's Lucha House Party has 0 chance, but Lucha House Party, John Morrison, and the Usos in a Hell in a Cell, some cool stuff could happen.
Yeah.
There's a trademark war happening with the Revival in WWE over
Just flips, no flip.
It's no flips, just fists.
Yes.
And they're both fighting over that because both filed trademarks
Wow.
for that. Yeah.
Well, I guess it comes down to who trademarked first, because
Yeah.
even if you have a lot of money, if you trademark first.
They trademarked it first. I believe they did it before WWE,
Yeah.
but they were using it in WWE, so that's how they can.
okay, yeah.
That's how WWE
okay.
can use it because they've been using it in their promotion.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay, look, Murder My Dude. We've been using Murder My Dude. We have this thing. We've been using it
That's
for
the name tag.
We've been using it for a year and a half. We've been using this, but if Tony goes and trademarks "Murder My Dude," you know, you could be like, "Well, I have the trademark." You know, we might be able to fight it because we've been using it for so long.
We can demonstrate that we've been using it before that.
It all depends
We will find out.
what paperwork there is and everything.
Yeah.
So.
You want Murder My Dude? I have Tornado Tech Podcast.
Either way, and by the end of summer, Revival's in AEW.
Yeah, 100%.
I can't wait.
Welcome the Killers, my guy.
Killers, my guy.
Your fourth match announced is a tag team title rematch. The Street Profits defending their newly won tag team titles against Seth Rollins and Murphy.
Yes, I don't care.
Andrade defending the U.S. title against Humberto Carrillo. And
keeps it.
Your possible show stealer, no DQ match.
Does Andrade come out by himself, or does Selena Vega come out with him?
I'm sure Selena Vega will be with
I
him.
like that there was a spot where Andrade and Angel Garza were on the outside, and Garza puts his hand like on Andrade's shoulder, like, all right, we got this, and he's like, get the fuck off. He doesn't say get the fuck, but he like pushes him away.
Does Garza become a heel? I mean, a babyface. Like
he should be a babyface, but I don't know about yet. But man, when he does,
Yeah.
that
just
dude's
come out and kiss girls in the crowd.
That dude's a star. He's a star, dude. They have some with him.
Yeah.
Maybe Vince might not like him because
Too small or
or
something.
his
Stupid.
English.
Yeah.
but he's got a great look. There's just something about he's got so much charisma.
I wish he would have been in
they
NXT for a little bit
I think
longer,
they do like him because they're pushing the hell out
Well,
of him.
it's good. I'm happy about that. 'Cause
And then
he's so
the other match they have formally announced, no DQ, Aleister Black against AJ Styles.
Yeah, no DQ. That should rock. That should be great.
Well, but what a lot of people think might happen is that
Undertaker.
the OC runs in and helps, tries to help AJ, and then the Undertaker comes out, and you might have like Undertaker and Black against the
Or
OC.
do they just do Undertaker's bell and he doesn't have to show up? And like lights
They
go
might.
off and come back on.
They
And it's
might.
like, I'm scared.
And then he hits it with the black mask,
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
So Taker and Aleister Black.
and maybe a third guy. I don't know
So
who
there's
you
the thing.
have.
Apparently, the thing that he sits up on was apparently made for Taker. I don't know when, at what point, and when Taker was supposed to use it, but apparently that was made. I guess
Really?
that's why it's because it's bigger than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It should be smaller, you know. Like 'cause
And
I
they
hate to
like in
say it.
NXT they would use enough fog and stuff, and Raw like he come up and you see him like.
And you
I
always
wish that they
play
did it in a
that chain
casket. Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
I wish there was a casket that he like literally came up
it made it look a little bit more.
That's what I read.
Not cheesy.
I think he says it too, that it was made for Undertaker.
Maybe.
Like people think it might be like a 6-man where it's the OC against Black, Undertaker, and Kane or something at WrestleMania.
It should be somebody else that fits that like dark.
The Fiend. No, I'm joking. The only thing with SmackDown that bothered
Papa
me.
Shango.
Is John Cena comes out and goes, WrestleMania spots are earned, not given, and it's better if I'm not here. And the Fiend's like, over there. And he's like, you're right. I want to be there.
What I had a problem with is...
The camera work was cool, though.
Earned, not given.
The camera work, you're right. No, it was, because it's like John Cena's a horrible actor, like the faces he makes. And two, why would John Cena stand there and look at him and then turn his back to the crowd like, should I...
Yeah.
And then the Fiend not attack him.
Yeah.
Why are they both standing there?
Should have listened to Jake Roberts. You don't turn your back on somebody unless you...
John Cena should have did that. He should have tried to look at the crowd and then be like, oh shit, like backed up. Like, fuck this dude. Like, you should have backed down the ramp a little bit. It was bad.
So if you want to play along with Pro Wrestling Scorecards, this pay-per-view, you can go download your own and print it out at ProWrestlingScorecards.com, and you can play along, and we'll find out who wins this time. Will I defend my championship, or will somebody else be the new champ? Just make sure when you guys go log on this time, up in the upper right-hand corner when you hit the gear settings, join the TTP group, because it's easier to keep us all together too, because now we have our own group.
Yeah, I don't think I joined it because I don't think I did that.
And you can change your name on there too if you're ever interested.
I've tried. I still can't do it.
You have to go to the settings thing and go to profile. Yeah. And you can do like TTP Brian or something. That'll do it.
You could do Pot Smoker 420XX.
Yeah.
XOXO. I fucked your mom. XOXO.
Yeah.
I'm going to change mine to TTP. Middle fingers are cool to kids.
I was going to say fuck kids.
Fuck kids.
Fuck them kids.
I wouldn't put that.
I don't give a shit about your kids.
That was a great
Brock
moment.
Lesnar.
Yeah.
That'll do it. Tornado Tech Podcast. We'll see you next week. Hey,
I guess at some point they realize.
Hold on. We're back, guys.
Oh, hi.
Real quick.
Hello.
This is we're stealing from Murder My Dude here. We're doing that post-credit secret track thing.
Oh, wow.
So if you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to Murder My Dude, because at the very end, let it play for a couple seconds, and then they talk and do cool, funny stuff. But Andy, plugs. What do you got this weekend?
Nothing.
All right.
Move on. I have no shows this week or next week.
All right.
You should plug your shirt, man.
Yeah. Go check out ProWrestlingTees.com and search Blue and Gold for the brand new Blue and Gold t-shirt.
Or better yet, you can message me and then you could get a blue one or a yellow one.
Yes.
A faded blue or a heather gray or heather black, which is like the faded black.
Yep.
Or a yellow shirt.
And he'll be at PPW and Outbreak coming up very soon. You can buy them there.
Yeah. And then artwork done by Alex Sanchez, who works for IDW Comics. So
they're fantastic
nice
shirts.
shirt.
We're gonna have a picture of it that'll be on our Facebook page.
Yeah, you can message me and you can send your shirt. It'll be $20. If a guy send it out, it's like $5 shipping.
But they're fantastic. You gotta check it out. And then back, if you didn't, we didn't say it last week, but Jack is our new member of the Tornado Tag podcast team. And then they
Jack the Snack Riley.
Jack the Snack Riley.
That's what I
we had to stop for snacks on the way here because he needed his snacks. But Murder My Dude's back, guys.
Yeah.
What do we got for a new episode?
The Toolbox Killers.
Toolbox Killers is the newest one, just dropped last night. And coming next week, we have John Wayne Gacy.
Ooh, right? I've been waiting for that one for a little bit.
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be a surprise?
No. I think we even mentioned it on the last episode. It'll actually be...
He was also Doink the Clown, right?
Pogo the Clown.
He might have been. There were so many doinks. So.
His name when he was a clown was Pogo the Clown.
I have a picture of me and Doink in 1994, 95. I think it was 94, but it was Ray Apollo.
Okay, yeah, and he was a legit doink.
There was a wrestler for XPW.
Yes.
That was called Pogo the Clown.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
He was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I miss Alabama doink. R.I.P.
He was in the clusterfuck.
We should watch an XPW show and review it. I have one on VHS. I will watch it.
I would love to sit and fucking like, dude. When I was, let me just tell like quick story. Like back in like early like or mid 90s, my dad would go and buy a bunch of hoagies and a bunch of snacks and a bunch of shit, and then charge people like $5 to come into the house, and we would rent the pay-per-view. And we would just sit around and fucking just like shoot the shit and like eat all this stuff. That'd be fucking great.
That we kind of do that. I mean, it's not I mean, I'm sure we could open it to everybody, but I do that at Jeff's house from Farlow's. So what we do is we all chip in a couple bucks, we all order food or make food, and then we all watch the wrestling pay-per-view.
Hoagies.
Subs.
I mean,
my God! When we went to the GCW show, there was a Phillies.
Oh yeah, Phillies Subs was a place like right by the arena.
It was called Phillies Subs.
Yeah.
Oh, but that's a mom and pop one that's down from it.
Yeah.
Across the railroad tracks.
They hate the term subs because
it's fine if it's not Philly Subs. Like
the way I break it down is if it's a sub, it's not a hoagie.
Okay.
It's a similar sandwich.
What's the difference?
Sandwich. The roll. Really, I think it comes down to the roll. I think it comes down to
the square. Or?
I mean, hoagie is the name of the thing. Like they were calling it hoagie before they were calling it subs.
Like a hoagie bun.
No, they call it hoagie because it came from Hog Island. There's a thing in Hog. It was an area where a lot of workers.
Really, well, I never knew that.
So they had it on like an Italian like loaf. Some lady had Italian bread, threw on some meat and cheese and stuff, and they called it a hoggy. It was originally called a hoggy because it came from Hog Island.
That makes sense.
And then it became a hoagie. So fucking here's my like TED talk for.
And our plug is just check out the rest of stuff on this network. Also for Murder My Dude, go to projecthumanoid.com, and they also have a merch store, which is the links below. Go check that out. Now we're officially out of here. See you guys next time.